Casey Show, Tuesday, 9 to noon, 93 WIBC.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the temperature outside isn't going to get very high today. Plus, John Herrick reports on what the governor is saying about Hoosiers who are on Medicaid, and an unfortunate end to the season in college football for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 9 o'clock.
Day one lawsuits. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Trump signed dozens of executive orders and actions after taking office again yesterday, including pardons for everyone charged with Capitol riot crimes and several related to border security and immigration.
Hours after President Trump signed an executive order aimed at ending birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. to parents who are not in the country legally, the American Civil Liberties Union filed a lawsuit challenging it. The suit was filed in New Hampshire on behalf of a couple who arrived in the U.S. in 2023 and are awaiting a decision on their asylum claim and expecting a child soon. The president's order contradicts the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which states, quote, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to jurisdictions thereof are citizens of the United States. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
The president's schedule for his first full day back in office includes national prayer service this morning at Washington National Cathedral, and his cabinet's coming together.
Marco Rubio is the first cabinet secretary to be approved, and he breezed through with the Senate voting unanimously to confirm him as Secretary of State. Several of Trump's nominees were also voted out of their respective committees. The Senate Intelligence Committee voted 14-3 to approve John Ratcliffe as CIA Director, and Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth also moved forward. The Senate Homeland Security Committee advanced the nominations of Kristi Noem and Russell Vought, Trump's choices to head the Department of Homeland Security and Office of Management and Budget.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. 2 Americans are released from custody in Afghanistan in exchange for an Afghan serving a life sentence in California on drug trafficking and terrorism charges. At least 66 people have been killed in a fire at a ski resort hotel in Turkey. At least 6 Palestinians are reported to have been killed, with 35 wounded in a large Israeli military operation in the West Bank city of Jenin. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Why is it so cold? Radar is clear, sunny, and 3 degrees downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service with an answer to that question.
We have a very, very deep, what we call a trough over the continental United States, and basically the jet stream is diverted all the way southward, all the way to the Gulf Coast right now.
He says highs today may not even get out of the single digits. Eckhoff adds that steady breezes will also make things feel as if they are below zero. He's admitting to beating his wife to death with a hammer. That's what court documents are saying about Terry Ogle here in Indianapolis. They say he called 911 last Friday when officers showed up. He said that he told them that he beat his wife to death because he thought she was having an affair. Roughly 2 million people in Indiana are on Medicaid, but John Herrick reports now there's pressure to reduce that number.
You might recall this announcement earlier this month from the state's Secretary of Family and Social Services Administration, Mitch Rube.
Effective upon Governor Braun's inauguration, we stopped advertising for Medicaid.
Rube calls it an effort to constrain Medicaid eligibility. Democrats are calling this measure unfair. The Indianapolis NAACP said Monday that restricting information about Medicaid benefits undermines both public health and equity. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
An Indiana man convicted for his involvement in the January 6th Capitol riot is hoping for a pardon from President Trump. Anthony Vo was sentenced to 9 months in prison, but instead he fled to Canada, where he has since been detained. Now he says he's a political prisoner in Canada.
It's the same thing that led to my charges, my wrongful conviction in the U.S.
Talking to Wish TV, Canadian authorities say they don't have a record of Vo entering the country legally. Not the end of the season that Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman had envisioned for his Fighting Irish.
We obviously didn't play the way we needed to get the outcome we want.
The Irish losing to Ohio State in the college football playoff national championship 34-23. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
Still on the northeast side, Kurt. It is eastbound, southbound, 465. Same thing at 71st Street. And it's blocking the right lane, causing a little bit of a slowdown. Northbound 65 slows through the north, split out to Meridian Street, Penn. Traffic is sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO and get an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Bear with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Hi, I'm Ken Mears, founder of Great Healthworks, the maker of Omega XL. Folks, if you're searching for an answer to your daily aches, pains, and soreness, then try Omega XL. It's a natural product sourced from a green lip mussel. This oil extract is one of the most powerful natural joint relief super oils in the world. This one-of-a-kind extract is not found in any other product and is backed by over 40 years of clinical research, showing that Omega XL provides relief from joint pain due to inflammation. Stop living in pain. Inflammation is controllable, it's manageable, and it's fixable. Importantly, Omega XL is small, easy to swallow, with no fishy aftertaste. And it works. We've put over 20 years into this quality brand, ensuring that Omega XL makes a difference in your life. Try it and you won't be disappointed.
Call now for Omega XL's BOGO special. 800-607-2604. That's less than $20 a bottle. Remember, there's a 60-day money-back guarantee. Terms apply. 800-607-2604. 800-607-2604. Or OmegaXL.com/news.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Partly cloudy, bitter cold today. A few flurries, too. A high of 5, wind chills 5 to 10 below. Tonight, mostly clear, frigid. A low of 1 below, wind chills 10 to 20 below. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
Partly cloudy, 3 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, it's 9:06 on a Tuesday, and I guess I'm in a feud with the new mayor of Terre Haute. It's a Kendall and Casey show. Oh, my gosh, that place, as I described it, is a cesspool of corruption, disappointment, and underachievement. And if you're focused on the Indianapolis radio guy instead of fixing that hellhole, that tells us everything we need to know. We'll get into that later. It's the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Our old pal, Kloffensteinstein. Brad, hello.
Hello, Rob. I'm glad to be back.
All right. So we got so much to get to today and so little time to do it. And, of course, we'll get to all the, the Trump swearing in and all of that stuff. What a happy, happy time. But we got to start with what just a despicable, rotten human being Joe Biden is. Pardoning, not only we knew coming in, by the way, he waited. Okay, let's start with this. He waited on Fauci and Milley and these January 6th people, and then, of course, his family, which we'll get to. He waited on those people to the last minute because he didn't want to answer questions about it.
Right.
He waited because he didn't want to deal with, why are you preemptively pardoning these people who aren't even under investigation for anything, much as been charged with anything or convicted of anything.
Well, and we should have seen what he did yesterday coming when he did that a couple days ago. I hate this because it's hard to put this genie back in the bottle now. He's set the precedent that presidents can preemptively just pardon anybody. Imagine how insufferable you and I would be if we were preemptively pardoned for anything we might do in the future.
Well, this is the question, right? So the premise of the pardon, and the president has great power and discretion on this, was to alleviate suffering of people who have paid their debt in some shape, form, or fashion to society. They've served their time in some capacity or their entire sentence, and to say, hey, you are no longer a threat to humanity. You've shown contrition. You've shown remorse. You have the ability to or have rectified your situation and have something still to offer humanity, and we're going to give you the ability to get your life back.
Right, exactly. You are not the same person you were when you committed these acts, and yes, you are reformed, and we recognize that is what pardons are supposed to be for. They are not supposed to be a get-out-of-jail-free card that you can just use for anything that you may or may not have done in the past or in the future.
You know, the first time I really remember hearing about the abuse of the pardon power was Bill Clinton with the Mark Rich stuff.
Right.
Who was this, Clinton mega donor, and then on his way out the door gets this pardon. And look, the Fauci and Milley and January 6th people are bad enough, because I think any reasonable person, to what extent I don't think we know yet, and maybe we'll never know, believes Anthony Fauci pulled some serious shenanigans related to what happened during COVID, and on numerous occasions was not, I'm being kind and saying, has not been forthright and forthcoming with congressional questionnaires.
Are you saying he was playing fast and loose with the science?
I'm saying that guy is a complete greaseball, and when you couple his debacle with handling the initial dealings of AIDS and HIV in this country, and the amount of people who ended up dead because of his mismanagement, and then the same thing during COVID, it was the same general philosophy and the same general approach that just were just the exact wrong thing to do. Not even to mention his level of involvement potentially in the creation of COVID being a thing, gain of function, etc. But let's take that out of the equation. Let's take those people who were in some shape, form, or fashion, right or wrong, working in some governmental capacity out of the equation. Let's remove Cheney, and let's remove Milley, and let's remove Fauci and all those other people from the equation. There is zero reason, none, absolutely no reason that is above board in any shape, form, or fashion that his family members should have received any sort of pardon whatsoever.
Right. It actually makes you wonder, what might they have done? Are they now complicit in something? Or are they guilty of doing something? So, yeah, it actually begs more questions than it gives answers.
Yeah, and this is the fact that he did it while Trump's up there getting inaugurated tells you everything you need to know about this guy. And there is what appears to be on multiple of these family members, especially the one brother, it appears to be irrefutable evidence that they were in on the office for sale scheme. They were participating in it. There's like these testimonies that were given to and this is where it comes, but this is ultimately on the Republicans. They had this stuff for 2 years. They did nothing with it, as we told you they would do nothing with it. And now they let these guys just skadoodle on out the door, and nothing's going to happen to them. But there's overwhelming evidence that his loser son and his loser brother, and probably more members of this family who he threw pardons to, were involved in the crime syndicate.
I think I've told you, I've met Francis Biden.
That's right. You told me that you...
And he seemed every bit as skeezy as you would
guess. Do you want to tell that story?
Sure. So it was 2016, presidential race year. The U.S. Mayor's Conference was happening downtown at the convention center. And I was state chair for the Gary Johnson for President campaign. And that was one where they'd invited Trump and he had accepted. They invited Clinton and she was on the fence. And I contacted them and I'm like, listen, Gary Johnson would love to be part of this. And they thought about it and they go, well, Hillary's kind of unsure. I'm like, screw her. He will be here. And I go, you're right. Screw her. We're going to invite Gary Johnson in. So Hillary did not show up. Gary Johnson did. He was quite the novelty. He got a really good reception. And so after he spoke, we had about an hour's worth of downtime before we were going to a rally or reception or something. And so we were hanging out in the lobby of the JW. And this guy that looks vaguely familiar comes up and starts talking to Gary Johnson. We're all like, who is this? And then he introduces himself. He says, I'm Francis Biden. I'm Joe Biden's brother.
And they all kind of look alike.
They do kind of look alike. Yeah. Have the same posture, same mannerisms, the whole thing. I was like, well, I'll be darned, it is. And which it's funny because Francis Biden says to Gary Johnson, who's running for president as a libertarian, he goes, when are we going to get you to run for something again?
Oh, so they're all stupid.
Yes.
I mean, Joe Biden is an idiot. All right. So you don't have to take our word for it on how skeezy and underhanded this whole thing is. Let's see what some of Joe Biden's closest friends and allies and associates have had to say. Because, of course, when Trump was going out the door in 2020 and into 2021, this was all the thing. Oh, he's going to pardon all his friends and all his family, and even though they haven't been charged with anything, there's this huge concern. Let's see what Chuck Schumer had to say about the preemptive pardon, 4 years ago.
The president seems intent on filling each of his remaining days in office with petulance, grievance, self-interest. The president's reportedly asking his staff about whether he can issue. President's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr. President, that would be a gross abuse of the presidential pardon authority.
Has anyone asked Chuck Schumer how he's feeling?
I don't often say this. Chuck Schumer was dead on that. He was spot on.
All right. Okay. Why don't we go to the other side of the aisle? Adam Kinzinger. Okay, Adam Kinzinger, if anybody's ever above reproach, it's Adam Kinzinger, right? The nation, the media loved Adam Kinzinger. The Democrats loved Adam Kinzinger. Let's see how Adam Kinzinger feels about the preemptive pardon.
The only reason I know to ask for a pardon is because you think you've committed a crime.
I only know of one reason to seek a pardon, because you're worried that you're guilty, that you committed a crime.
Oh, okay.
He's right.
Has anybody contacted Adam Kinzinger to see how he feels about the preemptive pardon? But wait. You don't have to take Chuck Schumer or Adam Kinzinger's word for it. Here's a little montage, Brad, going back 4 years to the mainstream national media and how they felt about the prospects of the preemptive pardon.
Have you ever heard of somebody getting a preemptive pardon who was innocent of all crime? Who's just an innocent person? Have you ever heard of that? Just somebody getting a blanket pardon and they're an innocent person?
But no, it's the president's own family. It's people that have been covering up for the president in addition to his own family.
Is there an innocent explanation for someone to seek preemptive pardons for family members? Would you do that if you knew you were innocent and just worried about outside forces?
The answer to that is going to be no. If you haven't done anything wrong, you sit there and go, what do you need a preemptive pardon for?
If he pardons people preemptively, he's essentially telling the public that these people have committed crimes. And we may not be aware of what they are, but the pardon is clear evidence that crimes have been committed.
I imagine if he decides to issue these preemptive pardons, it will be cast in a way that he is protecting his family and protecting their reputations from, villainous exterior forces that are against him.
First off, we should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability and that of his family members that pardons are a major obsession with him.
Oh, the prosecution rests, Your Honor.
Rob, I learned a valuable lesson at Mount Vernon Middle School way back when I was in 6th grade.
Yes, Brad.
When I was in homeroom, if you got in trouble for talking or doing something in homeroom, whoever our homeroom teacher was, he would have you write sentences. Oh. And it was always the same sentence. Everybody got the same punishment, and you'd have to write whatever. Well, I preemptively wrote the sentences out. I did not get in trouble much, but one time I did get in trouble, and I immediately walked up and handed him the sentences I'd written out, and I was punished, and I had to do it over and do twice as many. I think that should be the punishment here, Rob.
All right, we'll take a break. Brad's in for Casey today. When we come back, we'll play some of Trump's big speech yesterday after he was sworn in. A lot of interesting stuff coming from 47. We'll talk about it next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hear the news.
President Biden issues more pardons hours before he leaves office. General Mark Milley, Dr. Anthony Fauci, Liz Cheney.
Another update is just minutes away.
Tomorrow's high 8. Cold advisories across the state.
Your community.
A man shot and killed at an apartment building on the west side of Indy. Police say they've detained somebody.
Another update is just minutes away.
Tonight's college football playoff national championship game.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just one dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Are you having a hard time making it through a day of work without foot pain or discomfort with things that used to be simple like walking the dog? You may be thinking there's no way that something as simple as the Good Feet store can help you, like Bill.
My feet would just ache, my back would hurt, my ankles, everything just hurt. And I'd seen the commercial several times before I finally said, I'm going to do this. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
Another satisfied customer of the Good Feet store is Wendy.
Since wearing my arch supports from the Good Feet store, my back pain is gone and my feet don't hurt as much. And as I look into the future without pain, I see myself being even more adventurous, joyful, and full of possibility.
Come to the Good Feet store today for your free fitting and test walk. We're located in Castleton by the Fashion Mall or in Greenwood just off the 65. Or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Discover your options at the Good Feet store.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here, and if you're ready to start the new year taking care of you, then my friends at Hope Plumbing are here to help. For the month of January, get softer skin and hair, spotless glassware, take better care of your home appliances, and save money with a $200 off any new water softener. Let's celebrate the new year with the gift of soft water and ditch annoying scale buildup, failing appliances, and rough skin and nails. Call my friends at Hope Plumbing today.
Hammer and Nigel here. It's a new year. Time to keep that promise of getting your testosterone levels checked. Lacking energy, muscle mass, or have low libido? Could be low T. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer. Nobody matches the experts at Low T Center. And don't settle for a standard dosage TRT plan.
For current patients, Low T Center offers $150 referral credits when you refer a new patient. LowTCenter.com to book that appointment right now. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Thinning hair? This year, grow your hair back like I did. Call 317-522-2995 or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com.
B is offering one bath remodel for as low as $99 a month or get two bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
Well, Trump is not screwing around on the southern border. 93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Brad, our old pal, Kloffenstein, best known as the, well, you're best known as many things, but currently best known as the head guru at the Lawrence Chamber of Commerce.
President of the Greater Lawrence Chamber of Commerce. Hashtag why I love Lawrence.
That's right with us today. All right, so we'll get into that, the course of the show today. Trump's inauguration and the big speeches, plural. But I thought it was, look, I thought the inauguration speech was well done. It was about, what's crazy is I left the studio right as he was starting, and I got to my house in Brownsburg right as he was ending. I mean, it was almost 30 minutes on the dot.
So you got to listen to it all on WIBC?
Yeah, whole time listening to WIBC. And one of the things that I thought was interesting, I thought it was a good speech. I thought he stayed pretty focused by Trump standards. And I thought it was good the way they organized the speech, that he basically comes pretty quick, rip-roaring out of the gate on immigration. That's what won him the election.
Well, and exactly. And that's been pretty much his top issue the whole time.
Yeah, and so he made it abundantly clear he's not screwing around on immigration. And if you look at his executive orders, that was kind of the big issue yesterday. Now, he did many orders on many things, but it is very clear that he has read the tea leaves on the results of the election, something he's passionate about anyway, but he is delivering through executive order on day one on trying to fix what's going on the southern border.
Right. Now, Rob, one thing I've never understood, the Democrats' position is pretty much everybody come on in, all you want, all the time. Why?
Right. Well,
how does that benefit anybody?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that question in just a second. Let's play the clip of him talking about basically his first action is going to be declaring an emergency at the southern border.
First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. Illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country.
All right, so you asked what was the question?
The question was, I don't understand what the play was for the Democrats to just say, we're going to completely open the border to all illegals. We're not going to check anybody. Who does that benefit?
Well, it benefits them, and I think we talked about this before, where yes, in the short term, did that cost them this election? Absolutely. Did Trump win and turn the election on immigration? Absolutely. But I think the plan is, and this will come back to Trump now challenging this birthright citizenship stuff, which is, hey, once these people are in, whatever they do, future generations are sort of bound by it. And if you could have a man and a woman who are both illegally in this country, have a child, and that child is, at least by current interpretation, we'll see what the courts say going forward, is a citizen of this country. And what are the odds that child, the odds are astronomical, that child is going to be dependent upon and rely upon massive amounts of government subsidized or government funded services, which the Democrats believe, because their parents came here under Biden, they're dependent upon government services, that's another generation, that you create a generation of reliably Democrat voters. I mean, that's always been the thing to me, that it's about creating a way to ensure that they win elections going forward.
Now, I've always thought that typically Hispanics are big about family values, big about the church, that Republicans could do themselves a favor to reach out to that constituency, because it seems like those two fall in line together. But there's got to, I don't know why the Democrats just didn't come up with a system for bringing them in legally, as opposed to saying we're just going to turn our back to crossing the border illegally. I guess I just don't understand what the play was from the Democrats, because you're right. If you come in illegally, you've already committed a crime coming here that probably makes you more inclined down the road to be a Democrat.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it's all about. All right, so here's Trump saying he's going to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1790. Anytime we got to go back to 1798 to fix something.
They were smart people back then.
They were some of the most brilliant people ever. I don't think it's centered around something like this with the reason this act existed, but use whatever you can at this point. And he said, we're going after foreign gangs.
And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities. As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before.
And he's right. And look, the inflation's a major, major thing, Brad. And you can disagree if you want, but I think the number one thing he's going to be judged on is, does he get immigration, period? Because there's bigger problems than just illegal immigration. There's TPS people, et cetera. He's going to be judged in large part based on how he clean up what's going on with immigration in this country.
Right. Well, the other side of that coin is, so if you clean it up too much, then typically it's the immigrants that are low-wage workers.
Right.
If we eliminate low-wage workers, then who does the work?
All right, we'll get into this more throughout the course of the show today. A lot of stuff related to Trump's inauguration. When we come back, though, let's get an update on what's going on at the State House. Our old pal, the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Indiana, Micah Beckwith, will be with us. They're coming for his job again, Brad. I thought we went through this, and that bill got destroyed.
But this time it's the Democrats.
Now the Democrats are coming for him. You remember in the Blues Brothers where they're like, oh, now the mob's after us. We'll talk about it next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
B is offering one bath remodel for as low as $99 a month, or get two bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Pardoned and released. It's partly cloudy and 3 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Some people convicted for crimes connected to the January 6 riots are being released from prison after President Trump signed an executive order yesterday. In a statement today, the family of Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio said that he was released from a Louisiana federal prison late Monday. Israel is carrying out military operations in the West Bank. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
Soldiers, police, and intelligence services are involved in what the Israeli military is calling a counter-terrorism action. It's happening in the volatile West Bank city of Jenin, home to a massive refugee camp and a Palestinian militant stronghold. An Israeli airstrike at the refugee camp last week killed at least 3 Palestinians and wounded dozens more. Last night, Israeli settlers attacked Palestinians, smashing cars and burning property. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Former Thin Lizzy and Whitesnake guitarist John Sykes has died. The 65-year-old English musician was involved with many bands during his career, but most notable moments came when he was with Whitesnake in the 1980s. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Off of President Trump's inauguration, stocks with some modest gains to start the week. The Dow was up 172 to 43,867. The NASDAQ up 114 to 21,708. And the S&P 500 is up 26 to 6,059. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Why not start 2025 with a great new deal from Tom Roush Lincoln? Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators, now $12,000 off, and get 0% for 60 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. So start the new year with a new car from Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,200. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 61,695. Offers good through January 31st, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text YOUTH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text YOUTH to 42424. That's YOUTH to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
2025, new year, maybe a new home? If you're ready to get started building your dream home, take a look at what Joyner Homes can do for you. Joyner Homes will be at the Indianapolis Home Show from January 17th through the 26th in booth number 459. This is a great opportunity for you to learn more about their streamlined custom home building process and meet the team members who will work directly with you throughout the entire home building journey. Your dream home made simple with Joyner Homes. JoynerHomes.com.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
If you need health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Terrence and Jody when they got married, and Sophia when she had a baby, and Gary when he moved and needed new insurance. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The new year means new deals at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. This is where you get your next Ford car, truck, SUV, EV, or fleet vehicle. Elevate your journey right now with the new 2024 Ford Expedition Platinums. Save over $15,000 off MSRP. Equipped with a high-output 3.5-liter EcoBoost, it delivers up to 400 horsepower for commanding performance. And with the premium leather-trimmed interior and wood accents, you're sure to enjoy your time on the road. Need something a little smaller but still enough room? Check out the new 2024 Ford Edge SE. Save over $6,500 off MSRP. You got to check out everything going on at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. Get more to your door. Simply purchase your vehicle online and they'll deliver it directly to you. Visit the showroom, 2713 East Main Street in Plainfield, or online at andymoreford.com. That's Andy Moore, M-O-H-R.
I love Andy.
andymoreford.com.
Come on up for the rise. Come on up, lay your hands in mine. Come on.
93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Brads here. Let's go to the WIBC hotline. We do it this time each Tuesday. Our friend, the Lieutenant Governor for the state of Indiana, Micah Beckwith, joins us now. Talk about the latest going on down the street from us at 200 West Washington. And, Micah, let's start with this. There appear to be a lot of people in the Indiana General Assembly, in the Senate, which you oversee, that don't want you to exist as a human being. Another bill has been filed, this one by Senator Lonnie Randolph, Senate Bill 528, which would not only gut a lot of the power of the lieutenant governor, it would change the way the lieutenant governor is elected. Beckwith, why do so many people hate that you're a person?
I don't know. I'm a nice guy. I don't understand this. This is I just want to get in there and, serve the people of Indiana, but yet here we are. They just keep throwing the shots at me. But you know what? We knew what we were getting into, and we're happy to do it.
Okay, so we had talked about a couple of weeks ago this bill from the two fossil senators, Jim Buck and Susan Glick, that would basically take agriculture away from you. Now this guy, Lonnie Randolph, is back, Senate Bill 528. And just simplifying, you know that Brad always have the digest of what the thing is?
Well, actually, he should be very proud. He now has bipartisan opposition.
That's right. There's now both parties back with want to make you disappear. I mean, this bill basically, just to simplify it, guts the lieutenant governor being anything other than it just exists, and it takes away how you're elected, or changes how you're elected, the powers. Why? What is this guy's beef with you?
I don't know. I've only met Senator Randolph just very briefly on the floor of the Senate. We had a nice conversation. This was before I knew the bill was coming out that he had. But yeah, you're right. It strips the lieutenant governor office of everything. Now here's the kicker. I mean, lieutenant governor is making $180 with per diem over $200,000 a year, and they're willing, because they hate Hoosier taxpayers so much, they're willing just to say, you know what, here's $200,000, which I think is egregiously high and shouldn't be that high in the first place. But here's $200,000. Just go sit in the corner and we're happy to pay you $200,000 to literally do nothing for the taxpayers. This is the problem with government, is because of petty politics, they will screw over the taxpayers, and they will do dumb stuff like this. The lieutenant governor is an important role. I proved it, and we're doing some good things in the lieutenant governor's office. And now the establishment playing petty politics. They don't like it because I kicked in the back door and I got in there and I got into the old boys club. And so now it's all the old boys, all the old, fossil senators that you're talking about that really have been there since Jim Buck's been in office since I was 11 years old. Think about that. Think about it. Like, that's insane. That's literally insane.
Okay, so this is the brazenness of it, Brad. Whether you like Micah or not, he won fair and square. He played by the rules. And then their response is, because they didn't do this for Suzanne Crouch, they didn't do it for Holcomb, they didn't do it for Ellsperman. Was it Skillman? Was it Skillman before Ellsperman? It's clear the guy hasn't even screwed anything up yet. It'd be one thing if agriculture ceased to exist, Beckwith, a year from now. You haven't screwed anything up yet, and they're like, we hate this guy this much, and even though he hasn't done anything, we're just going to try to take everything away from him.
Well, it's the petty politics of the nature of government, and this is what people hate about politicians on both sides of the aisle. Is they will forget about doing the job for the taxpayer, for the people that they're called on to serve, and they will just throw these petty political shots just because they're mad. And listen, you're right. I won fair and square, and they'll say, well, you found a loophole. No, I didn't. I played the game exactly how it's written according to the laws and the bylaws, and now they want to change the game because they're like, oh, man, a normal person found a way to get into the old boys club. We need to make sure that never happens again because this is for the ruling class elite. We don't want normal, average citizens to think that they can govern too, and this is the problem. And so we're it's bills like this that it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, the majority of the senators that I've talked with it's great conversations. I think we're going to work really well together. But just the fact that it was filed and the fact that there's on both sides of the aisle, there's petty politics going on. This is why Hoosiers are fed up with politics as normal. This is why Donald Trump won, and this is why I'm in office as well. It's to kick in the door and say enough with the petty. Politics as usual. It's a new day in Indiana.
Brad, you know what this reminds me of, and you'll appreciate this because you're Mr. Alcohol. Remember the cold beer thing with Rickers several years ago, where Rickers had legally followed every rule, every regulation, and figured out how to legally sell cold beer. And those law, like Bosma and Long, I thought were going to tear hamstrings.
Oh, they lost their minds.
Sprinting to a podium to figure out how we got to rewrite this law because these guys followed the law that we wrote, and we can't have that.
I went to a rally at two different Rickers locations over that. Although the way Micah described this, it sounds like they're trying to give him a Bobby Bonilla contract. If you're familiar with that, for our listeners who don't know, Bobby Bonilla still gets $1 million a year to not play for the New York Mets.
Yeah.
This has been going on for 25 or 30 years.
Oh, okay, Micah, so we got to ask you about something serious, though, because as you said, that bill's probably not going to go anywhere, just like Buck's bill's not going to go anywhere. I am a little concerned because a week and a half ago, we rolled out a property tax bill, and I think it's a pretty good bill, but then I haven't heard anything. Are we going to have hearings on this? I'd like to be able to tell the 7 people who listen to this show a week in advance, you got to show up here. You got to be here at this time. You got to take off work. People like Brad are very busy. They need to know when and where they need to be. Why am I not? You're the head of the Senate. Why are we not hearing anything about this?
Well, I don't think that hearing has been scheduled yet. I will let you know when it is so that you can let your listeners know so that they can tune in or get down there to testify because we need all the help we can get when it comes to making sure that we do something to fix property taxes. So, but it is SB1, so it's the highest priority bill in the Senate, which I think is a very positive sign. It's the Braun language, which I think is another positive sign. They didn't try to water it down or do something, pull some shenanigans and say, oh, we're giving you a property tax fix, but it really doesn't do anything. So I'm encouraged by what I've seen so far. I'm cautiously optimistic. But yes, we will let you know when that hearing is scheduled because we do need your listeners to come down, testify, and because there's going to be the lobbyists that are down there trying to stop this bill because they want their money and the piggy bank of the government right now is the property tax piggy bank. So we got to get that back in the right alignment.
Now, Mike, I got a question. Just functionally, do you have a policy person on your staff that is culling through bills and kind of giving you a digest of what's happening?
Yes, I do. And she's doing a great job. She's been around the legislature and around government for 20 years now. She really knows the ins and outs of bills, and so she's keeping me up to date on when these hearings are. Like if we basically circled the bills that we're interested in, she's talking to senators and representatives and making sure that we just know what's going on with the bills, and then reporting back to the office, and then we get the word out to the general population. So that's kind of how it's working right now. Now we're week 1 in, so we got our computers to work finally. So that's good. But now we're off and running. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a great season of politics and government for the people of Indiana here over the next 4 years. I'm really excited.
All right. Well, we'll check back in with you next week. We'd like to help. We're here to help the cause. I can't get my Sagamore or the Wabash if we don't deliver on that property tax reform, Micah. So I really need you to help me fulfill my life's ambition and keep us informed of when and where we need to be.
Well, hey, thanks for all you guys do, and appreciate getting the message out. And you're going to get I think you're going to get a Firefly first. Isn't that what we talked about?
Okay, so
Firefly.
Okay, so Brad, you'll love this because you're such a historian. So Micah sends me a message like 2 weeks ago, and he's basically, you totally deserve that Sagamore. I'm not sure, how that's going to work for you to get one. In the meantime, my office and I are considering giving you a Firefly. And I'm thinking is this like a Dundee from The Office? Is this some made-up thing? You're telling me so I look at, Micah sent me the text. You have an award that you give to children? Is that right?
That's right. It's called the Firefly. It's for, children and next generation Hoosiers that are doing great things for the state. And so, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about that, Brad? We could give Rob a Firefly. I'm sure there's a loophole that we can find.
At 40, are you a next generation Hoosier at 40, Micah? Is that next generation?
Rob, you're not halfway to dead, so this is fine. The other thing is, my guess is that Rob would more proudly display his Firefly than a lot of people display their Sagamores.
There you go. Well, that's in the works. Don't hold your breath, but my people will reach out to your people.
There you go, Micah Beckwith. Thank you. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show. We crack the mic at 3:06. Biggest stories in Indy, and buy tickets now for our charity bowling event. It's presented by Jack Daniels. Go to the events page of WIBC.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. It's still Obamacare, right? We've recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Do you have an idea for a book, fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
Howard Bailey Financial is now in Carmel on Rangeline Road. For over 20 years, we've helped people navigate their retirement journeys, and now we're bringing our experience closer to home. Visit retirecarmel.com to schedule your appointment or text Carmel to 888-2621-104 to download a free retirement resource. Together, let's build the retirement you deserve. Howard Bailey Securities LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
It's the new year. Time to make a positive change in your life.
I went to My Computer Career because I needed job security.
Because I wanted a career in cybersecurity.
I went to My Computer Career because IT jobs are everywhere.
My old job was going nowhere.
I went because I didn't want college loans for the rest of my life.
Because I wanted a career for the rest of my life.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid available for qualified students, including the GI Bill. 529 college savings plans accepted. Not available in Washington State.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, let's talk about inauguration etiquette, shall we?
Sure,
I think
Rob.
some people didn't get the memo. It's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Brad's in for Casey. Kev is here. Okay, so let's start with Fetterman. The guy shows up in shorts and a hoodie. And I get that that's part of his shtick is Mr. I don't care, and I walk to the beat of my own drum, and nobody's going to tell. That's totally disrespectful.
I thought the same thing. Yeah, you wouldn't wear that to church.
I mean, you have a reasonable level of expectation. Does every suit need to be an Armani? No, of course not. But I have a reasonable level of expectation that my senator or congressperson who is going to be making, in the case of a senator, you're one of the 100 most powerful people in the country. You have the ability to lord over 330 million people. I expect some level of professionalism when you're on the job. And that professionalism, just like any other job, there's a dress code, means put on a tie and put on a suit.
Right. There's rules if he's on the Senate floor, so he has to put on a suit. Now, nobody pushes the boundaries of when you can wear shorts more than I do. But even I know that it's like, all right, there are certain situations where, yes, you need to be dressed up. You don't have to be Mr. GQ, but
I've seen you in a professional environment, and unless the event is some sort of outdoor fun, even then you're wearing a golf shirt and you're not, you're wearing shorts that are appropriate. But every time I've ever seen you in some indoor function, you're dressed professionally for a chamber type event.
I have a chamber event right after this today. So yes. Now, speaking of Fetterman, you might have already been here in the studio. Tony Katz broke a rumor that I thought was interesting.
There's no way that's happening.
Okay,
no
you
way.
know what the rumor is?
Well, the rumor was he's going to flip and go to the Republicans.
Right.
I don't see why. He's fine. Pennsylvania is a swing state. It's not like it's a red state.
Right. They seem to love him there regardless.
He's got 4 years left, and he appears to be playing. And now maybe somebody forces his hand if he plays in the Trump sandbox enough. But I don't find anything cute about people that are disrespectful and unprofessional to their job. Like I don't think there's anything endearing about this. I don't think there's anything that we should go, oh, look at this guy. He really has it going on. Every job has a dress code, a level of profession. It's why I chose radio instead of TV. You don't have to dress up. I can wear jeans and a hoodie to work because my boss says it's okay.
And if you'd like to see, you can join us on the YouTube. And
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
So now, I think I've told you this story before. I'm going to tell you again. The time that I was driving through Pennsylvania like 4 years ago, and Sheila and I, my wife, we stopped at a rest area in Pennsylvania. And in this rest area, they had a handful of pictures on the wall. And I thought, and it was like the governor, and there's U.S. senator, some woman or something. And I thought it was really cool that they put a picture of the janitor for the place up on the wall. And I went to the bathroom, but I came out before my wife did. So I'm looking at these photos and I'm like, wait a second. This guy is not the janitor. He's their lieutenant governor.
Fetterman. Okay, so let's talk about, he's a senator. Let's talk about this Lauren Sanchez woman who is Bezos' wife, who basically shows up in lingerie to the event. I get that in the fashionista world that she lives in, where she has become a thing, you know, the rumor was that she was a jersey chaser for years, that looking and acting that, you know, as Kev grabbed the microphone immediately.
Welcome to the conversation, Kev.
But also, again, highly unprofessional. You're invited to this thing. It pissed a bunch of people off that her and Bezos got to sit behind Trump, and we can get to that later in the show, that he's butting up to those people. But again, have a little respect for where you're at. Everyone doesn't need to see your boobular area at all times.
Yeah, did you see the picture of Mark Zuckerberg checking her out?
Well, okay, well, that may not have been his fault. I mean, that's a natural instinct, right?
Exactly. It's hard to miss it. I just assumed that the whole reason they moved everything indoors was so she would take the big winter coat off, and so that the Secret Service could have a good look.
Am I wrong, though, by saying, I mean, look, I don't blame Zuckerberg, you know, like, this men, just the way men are. And then he caught himself and he was like, whoa. Although Robert F. Kennedy Jr. didn't take the bait. He's the biggest womanizer around, and he didn't take the bait.
He knows better. Yeah. The good womanizers have learned.
But what are we doing where these people think that this is cute and appropriate? We got about 30 seconds left here. Cute and appropriate to go, I'm going to wear some lingerie to the president's swearing-in ceremony.
She had a jacket on over it.
Yeah, she had. As soon as at the first opportunity, she removed the jacket.
It got really warm in there.
It did, yeah. I'm with Kev.
So can you imagine Zuckerberg? And I mean, he's obviously married and he's got several kids. How do you think that conversation went? Because every guy's done that at some point. You're just not on national TV or one of the richest people in the world looking at one of the richest other people.
There's
in the world.
a bunch of junior high kids today that are asking their teacher if they can rewatch the inauguration.
All right, we'll take a break. More audio from Trump. We got to talk about this $55 million swimming pool built in Carmel. Brad's in for Casey. A lot to get to. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
If you have chronic joint pain in your knees, hips, or shoulders, who can you turn to? How about real people with pain just like yours who discovered QC Kinetics?
Came to QC Kinetics. I had a lot of issues with my shoulders and neck. I am excited at the progress, being able to throw footballs with the grandkids.
My name is Jake. Was skeptical at first, but now after my procedures, I'm almost 100%.
Tens of thousands of patients are pain-free again with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime, thanks to a groundbreaking regenerative therapy that uses your body's own healing agents to revitalize damaged tissue. For a free consultation, call 463-292-1742.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I have absolutely no pain. The whole process is just fantastic.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
Find out if you're a candidate for regenerative therapy today. For a free consultation, call 463-292-1742. 463-292-1742.
Terry Stacy for Cardwell Do It Best Home Center, just south of the Gateway Arch on Indy's South Side. Your discount roofing headquarters. Stop in for wholesale and factory direct pricing on the roofing shingles and supplies you need at the price you love. They offer dimensional and 3-tab shingles at low prices. Cardwell also carries a full line of best look quality paints produced by Sherwin-Williams, America's largest paint manufacturer, with paint and primer all in one. Cardwell also carries a full line of Hillman fasteners, and for winter, snow shovels, rock salt, and ice melter all in stock. At Cardwell Do It Best, you'll also find a full line of lawn and garden supplies, plumbing, electrical, with lumber and building materials too. Cardwell Home Center. Shop online at cardwellhomecenter.com with over 67,000 products available and free shipping to the store. Cardwell Do It Best, 3205 Madison Avenue, just south of the Gateway Arch on Indy's South Side, serving the greater Indianapolis community since 1945.
life.
Hi, I'm Ken Mears, founder of Great Healthworks, the maker of Omega XL. Folks, if you're searching for an answer to your daily aches, pains, and soreness, then try Omega XL. It's a natural product sourced from a green lip mussel. This oil extract is one of the most powerful, natural joint relief super oils in the world. This one-of-a-kind extract is not found in any other product, and it's backed by over 40 years of clinical research, showing that Omega XL provides relief from joint pain due to inflammation. Stop living in pain. Inflammation is controllable, it's manageable, and it's fixable. Importantly, Omega XL is small, easy to swallow, with no fishy aftertaste. And it works. We've put over 20 years into this quality brand, ensuring that Omega XL makes a difference in your life. Try it, and you won't be disappointed.
Call now for Omega XL's BOGO special, 800-607-2604. That's less than $20 a bottle. Remember, there's a 60-day money-back guarantee. Terms apply. 800-607-2604. 800-607-2604 or OmegaXL.com/news.
Pat Sullivan here with Michaela of Michaelis. If you have water damage, why should you call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local family-owned Indianapolis company with 39 years experience. On call 24/7, 365. We are IICRC certified and will restore your space to pre-loss condition or better. And we work through the entire insurance process on your behalf to make it easy.
Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIX-INDY.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the cold means higher energy bills, how you can temper the temperatures. Plus, this Hoosier detained in Canada is asking President Trump for a pardon, and it's the end of the line for this longtime Notre Dame football player. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Stocking the cabinet. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Marco Rubio is sworn in as Secretary of State, the first Trump cabinet member confirmed by the Senate.
Everything we do must be justified by the answer to one of three questions. Does it make us stronger? Does it make us safer? And does it make us more prosperous? If it doesn't do one of those three things, we will not do it.
Rubio sworn in this morning by Vice President Vance. He was part of the unanimous vote on this confirmation, resigning from the Senate. Rubio did after the vote. President Trump attends a national prayer service at Washington National Cathedral this morning and makes an announcement about infrastructure this afternoon. He, in the hours after replacing President Biden yesterday, signed dozens of executive actions and orders on immigration and border security, pardoning January 6 Capitol rioters, delaying a TikTok ban, pulling out of the Paris Climate Agreement, freezing federal hiring, ending federal diversity programs, and more, like withdrawing from the World Health Organization.
President Trump cites the organization's mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic and other health crises in a failure to adopt needed reforms. The president withdrew the U.S. from the WHO near the end of his first term. That was quickly reversed by President Biden. The WHO says it hopes the United States will reconsider, saying the U.S. is a founding member of the WHO and has helped save countless lives and protected Americans from health threats.
Fox's Jared Halpern. There are winter weather alerts from Texas to the Carolinas. Schools and airports are closed in Houston. John Spud McConnell in Louisiana stocking up on pork shoulder.
I got a couple of great big Boston butts, and I'm going to put them in the oven tomorrow morning when it's really cold. I'm going to bake them bad boys all day. Then I'm going to be eating pig like the pig that I am.
The first ever blizzard warning for the Gulf Coast is issued. Israel's top general, Herzi Halevi, resigned, citing security and intelligence failures related to the October 7th, 2023 Hamas terrorist attack in Israel. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's an Arctic blast. Radar is clear, partly cloudy, 4 degrees downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. That's what is hitting the state today, causing high temperatures, or rather high temps to be in the single digits.
High temperatures with the fresh cold air coming in behind this front might not even get out of the single digits today. We have a forecast high of 7 degrees in Indianapolis with a forecast high of 4 up in Lafayette.
Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service. He says wind chills will make things even colder. Your heating bill might be a problem that you're dealing with right now. John Herrick reports on advice from AES Indiana.
Since bills can get
higher this time of year the colder it gets. Mallory Duncan with AES Indiana says there are ways to save.
When you leave or when you're sleeping, we suggest setting your thermostat back at least 8 degrees. So 70 degrees, we say, is a good threshold when you're home.
She also recommends using caulk to seal the gaps around windows and doors. Opening your windows and curtains to let the sun in does not hurt either. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
A man from Indiana convicted for his involvement in the January 6th Capitol riot is hoping for a pardon from President Trump. Anthony Vo was sentenced to 9 months in prison, but instead of taking that sentence, he fled to Canada, where he's now been ironically arrested on January 6th of this year. Now he says he's a political prisoner in Canada.
It's the same thing that led to my charges, my wrongful conviction in the U.S.
Canadian authorities say they don't have a record of Vo entering the country legally. Gas prices have jumped this week. $3.08 is the average for unleaded in Indiana today, says Gas Buddy. That's up 10 cents from last week. A long career comes to an end.
Yeah, it's about the people. It's the people that's made this place different, and it just shows where this program's heading.
Fighting Irish linebacker Jack Kaiser after Notre Dame's 34-23 loss last night to Ohio State in the college football playoff national championship. He played a record 70 games in an Irish uniform. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Attention Indiana residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you, and they get paid. Through Medicaid with no cost to you, Freedom Care, a leading in-home provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in Indiana for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's free to you through Medicaid, go to freedomcare.com or call 463-232-7324. 463-232-7324. That's 463-232-7324.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Oh, yeah, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Our old pal, Brad Kloffenstein, in for Casey. Going through, man, what a big day it was yesterday. So many things to get to, so little time to do it. And let's go back to Trump. Obviously, Brad dominating the day. I felt like yesterday was a really strong day for Trump. I felt like he said the things he needed to say. I felt like the topics he chose to focus his time on in his. Now, he got a little squirrely when he went down into that, wherever that second area that he went. I forget what the place is called. So there was the people that were in the rotunda there watching the speech, and then there was an overflow area that he wasn't even scheduled to go to. I gather these are, by the way, Victoria Sparks will be with us at 10:30 today. She was there for the speech. We'll ask her, how that all got divided up. But kind of together, those were spouses and staffers and whatever, and he wasn't scheduled to go down there, and then he saw, there's all these people down there, and he went down there and gave an impromptu rip-roaring Trump type of speech. But the actual speech itself, the inauguration speech, I thought was very good and very focused.
He was disciplined.
Yes.
Later on at the arena, then he went back and said, well, I wish I would have put all this in that my speech.
No, the inauguration speech was fine.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was perfect for him.
You had made a good point before we went on there, and I think there's a lot of merit to what you said, which is he's a bad winner.
He's a terrible winner. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to get people to rally behind you when you dance on their grave.
Yeah, and he's still focused on 2020.
He is.
And I think you and I both agree that anytime you have mass mail and unaccountable voting, there's probably some to what? It could be extensive, it could be minute, but in the swing states, Pennsylvania, et cetera, it was enough to make a difference. Like, I don't think it doesn't make you a conspiracy theorist, or it doesn't make you, whatever to say there were probably some shenanigans that took place in 2020.
If you were to redo that election, you might have a different outcome.
Right. But it's over. You won re-election. Right. You completed one of the greatest political comebacks, probably the greatest political comeback in American history, and he was still not so much in the speech that he gave in the inauguration, but then when he goes down into the overflow area, he's back on. It's over. You're the president.
Right. He doesn't have to run again. Who cares? You're president for the next 4 years.
And we'll get into this with Victoria Sparks at 10:30. He's got this is one of my concerns with the Fast Nation and borderline obsession with the TikTok, is you got a very small window, 2 years max, realistically probably a year, because certain people then start campaigning. The House members will start campaigning after a year.
You lose their attention.
And so you've got this just such a small window, and there's only so much you can do through executive order. You're going to need to get actual legislation passed. And I just sometimes wish he would be more focused on the moment in front of him rather than the moment that has been.
It's not his style. He likes, not only does he want the knowledge that he beat somebody, he wants to remind everybody else that he beat somebody. Yes. And it's just him.
It's part of why, in order to be effective, and by effective, I'm talking about passing hard public policy that helps people, you gotta, as an elected official, be a coalition builder that's willing to be bigger than yourself. It's why I did it for 4 years and got out of it, because I don't want a coalition build, and I don't want to be bigger than myself. I want to call people names, and I want to burn the thing to the ground, and I have no interest in working with anybody. That's why I got out of it, and I never went back, because I'm not interested in that. But if you want to be good at being an elected official, getting your things done, you've got to always be cobbling together diverse groups of people, and it makes it harder to do when you behave in that fashion.
Obviously, I'm a libertarian at heart.
You're a Republican now, Klopfenstein.
Nobody's anything anymore. It's everybody just threw everything up in the air.
Yeah.
And it's
I think you're where most people are in this country. You're a split ticket voter.
I am a split ticket voter. I'm all over the place. But even when I was actively involved in politics, I did my darndest to be nice to everybody, because I knew that if I ever got elected or I was ever in power, I was going to need other people to push any sort of agenda, any sort of legislation. And I think that is just good legislating, to try to build people behind whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. If you just steamroll something through, you might be able to steamroll it through for now, and 4 years from now, somebody might undo it.
Yeah, because, and I'm saying this from experience, and I've worked through it for the past 7 or 8 years, and I've tried a little bit different tack the past 7 or 8 months, and it's been more effective. Is ain't nobody doing no favors for me, right? If there's something that I'm passionate about, you either gotta just basically bulldoze your way through it and get the public so overwhelmingly on your side that the lawmakers feel they have to do it, but you can't deal. Like, there's no lawmaker that's going to go, well, Rob really wants this, so let's do him a solid, right?
They don't care what you think. I didn't know I was sitting with Rob 2.0, by the way.
Well, part of, it's like I'm not under any delusion that Braun just woke up one day and said, Rob's a really good guy, and he's probably right about those property taxes. No, he did that because our show was kind of the leader on, and then, people throughout the state, really got on board with this, that, hey, you're getting screwed on your property taxes. And they heard it from enough people that they were forced to do it. The point is, though, I'm not a lawmaker. He is. He's the president of the United States, and that coalition building, especially when you have a razor-thin margin in the House, you have a little bit of wiggle room in the Senate, but not much. You've got to be able, when the chips are down, to be able to bring these people together behind closed doors, and having done that in the past, it's a pain in the ass. It's a giant headache at all times, but that's how you actually get the stuff done.
Right. You need people who say, well, you might not be in my party, but you did me a solid in the past, or you were very cordial, in your victory and my defeat.
We're not calling for like the Insider Good Old Boys Club. We're talking about, this is realistically how legislation, especially controversial legislation, gets moved. It always comes down to, this is how the controversies work, right? It always comes down to one or two people. Remember the Obamacare repeal. John McCain didn't vote against Trump's Obamacare plan because it was a bad plan. He did it because he hated Trump, because Trump went out of his way for all those years to make his life hell. And he's like, I'm old, I'm dying. The last thing I can do is extend my decrepit old middle finger to this guy and screw whoever I screw over in the process, right? I mean, that's how these things work. All right, but a couple of things Trump said in his speech. Again, I thought the speech itself, the actual inauguration speech, was excellent. And one of the things he said is, we're not doing DEI in this government anymore. We're picking people on merit, not color. And, Brad, there's only two genders.
I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Hard to argue again with any of that. It's hard to like it's such a strong flex to go, no, I want to be chosen based on the color of my skin, not whether I'm actually qualified.
I think that's all anybody has ever wanted. And Biden did the exact opposite of that. Kamala, there were probably plenty of black women who were qualified to be vice president of the United States, and he made it meaningless because he said, I'm picking the worst of the bunch because she's black and a woman. Yeah, we probably don't have enough time in this segment, but I would really like to explore more. Both parties tend to overplay their hands to their base.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. And the Democrats had a perfect opportunity to run to the middle, and they did not. They got put in there as being a reasonable alternative to Trump, and all of a sudden they went as far left as they possibly could, which then brought the country back the other direction.
Yeah, you're right. People, and again, I don't agree with this, obviously. And then, as we talked about, there were mass, shall we say, irregularities with the jelly bean counting. But you see people all the time who said, well, I kind of liked what Trump did, but I don't want to deal with him anymore. That, to me, is crazy that, like, what, Twitter bothered you that much? You kind of like the direction of the country, but, well, the Twitter, it really bothered me. Okay, so one other thing he said, and I'm going to be fascinated to get your take on this. He says we're taking back the Panama Canal. Brad, think about this for a second. Let's play the audio, and then you tell me how theoretically this happens, because I'm not saying it can't or won't. I'm saying I have no idea how this actually happens.
The Panama Canal, which has foolishly been given to the country of Panama after the United States. The United States, I mean, think of this, spent more money than ever spent on a project before and lost 38,000 lives in the building of the Panama Canal. We have been treated very badly from this foolish gift that should have never been made, and Panama's promise to us has been broken. The purpose of our deal and the spirit of our treaty has been totally violated. American ships are being severely overcharged and not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form, and that includes the United States Navy. And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
Okay, I'm interested. You have my attention. Theoretically, how would you do that without mass military intervention? Because Panama's not giving it back.
We should have never given it away in the first place. I thought that was folly when they announced we were going to do it. I thought it was folly when we did it early. But yeah, now I don't know how you take it back because we're not operating it. We don't have any presence down there. I think you could argue that Panama as just a government is kind of a wreck, and you probably don't want that sort of government being in charge of all the shipping traffic between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans.
Sort of like giving a gift, though, isn't it? Once you've said, here's your gift.
Right, exactly. You can't ask for the wedding present back. Yes, I would like to hear more about this plan because I don't think he's necessarily wrong. However, I think the rest of the world might have a problem if we go down there and just take it.
Of all the things he's proposed, and he seems really hung up on it. Of all the things he's proposed, I'm going to be fascinated. I think this is I'm most curious about how he plans on reacquiring the Panama Canal. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Brad, we're told that if there's any help with your property taxes, if there's any reform to the property taxes, there's going to be no policemen on the streets. There's going to be no firemen in the firehouses. Teachers will be back in the one-room schoolhouses.
Who's going to pave the roads?
And so, I'm hesitant to ever call local agents of government on their bullcrap. But I'm going to, when we come back, we're going to talk about, they're building something in Carmel that might draw some of these theories that the world's going to end into question. We'll talk about it next. Brad's in for Casey, 93 WIBC.
No matter where you head on your commute, Matt Bear is there. Paris.
Les Champs-Élysées sont un véritable parking ce matin.
Warsaw.
W drodze do pracy wyjdź trochę wcześniej.
Or Brazil.
Temos bisbilhotice no Rio de Janeiro. Não haja como turista.
Matt, these are all cities in Indiana.
Oh, that makes my job easier.
Making your commute easier. Matt Bear Traffic. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
I fall in love with you more every single morning.
Babe, you're my favorite. My heart belongs to you.
At Shane Company, our fine jewelry says it all without saying a word. This Valentine's Day, give a gift they'll love. We have pieces you can personalize or classic gifts that are ready to go. Shop our collection of meaningful gifts, like necklaces engraved with flowers and a message of love. Or give timeless diamond studs or a stylish 14-karat gold chain. We have so many romantic gifts, no matter your budget. Just call us Cupid. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
2025, new year, maybe a new home? If you're ready to get started building your dream home, take a look at what Joyner Homes can do for you. Joyner Homes will be at the Indianapolis Home Show from January 17th through the 26th in booth number 459. This is a great opportunity for you to learn more about their streamlined custom home building process and meet the team members who will work directly with you throughout the entire home building journey. Your dream home made simple with Joyner Homes. JoynerHomes.com.
Why not start 2025 with a great new deal from Tom Roush Lincoln? Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators, now $12,000 off and get 0% for 60 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. So start the new year with a new car from Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,200. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 61,695. Offers good through January 31st, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Book your custom patio project before March 1st and save up to $2,500. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
You won't believe how much Carmel's spending on a swimming pool. Oh, it's Carmel, so you probably will believe it. Might not even be news to you. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Brad is here. All right, so before we get to this, what Carmel's spending on a pool, the reason we harp on these expenditures, including in places I don't live, is because we are in the coming months, whatever, going to hear one doomsday, end of the world, the sky is going to fall, you will suffer, your children will suffer story after another whenever Senate Bill 1, which is the Braun property tax bill, gets its hearing. And I think it's important when these sorts of things pop up that we tell people that they're going on, Brad, because the local government people are some of the most disingenuous, not all of them, obviously, but some of them are some of the most disingenuous, nasty, quite frankly, pathetic people that I have ever encountered because they're about themselves. And when I say they're about themselves, the money is themselves. The money is this is what I tell people always about the school referendums. The school referendum isn't about the thing, whatever they say it's for. It's about the power over you, and because taxation, the ability to take something from you, that is power.
Oh, it is for sure. I mean, if they're taking your resources, those are things that you could have spent on bettering your family, bettering your home, going on a vacation, and they think that they can use that better than you can. But you're right. It's them telling you how to use your money.
And the big frustration is especially the schools, especially the public school system, has been great at using these kids as human shields and convincing you that if you don't go along with whatever they've proposed, then little Johnny or little Susie is going to suffer in some capacity. And we are so far, the reality is, and this is the frustration with these Republicans in the legislature, is they know this is happening. They know the mass abuse of public finances that are going on in terms of using things that in no way better some kids' ability to read or write or learn. And yet they just sit there and go, oh, yeah, no, this is fine. And the reality is the schools have all the power. Under the current structure, a school system at any time can go, yeah, we want something, and we don't have a way to pay for it, so we're just going to put it on the ballot that we want to raise your taxes. And you can say whatever you want about, oh, well, you have the ability to defeat those referendums. It is not quite impossible, but it is extremely hard, unless you have me in your community, to defeat a public school referendum. Because you have to organize, you have to spend time, you have to spend your own money, and the schools are able to do all of this around oftentimes public money and resources. And then what they can't or won't be able to get through the public resources, they have a group of very dedicated people. Oftentimes, wouldn't you know, Brad, the people who fund the PACs are these construction companies who would be building whatever project that is being proposed. It's a totally unfair fight. These people down the street from us at 200 West Washington know it's going on, and then they have the audacity to act like they play dumb, not knowing that these people, these public school people and these local government people as a collective are totally full of crap with the way they're misusing public money. All right, so Carmel is the latest example of this, where they are, and the Indy Star had a big article about this. They are spending $55 million to renovate their, I guess we'll call it a swimming complex. Brad, it's much more than just a pool.
Yes.
And I get that Carmel has a great swimming program, and that's wonderful. But in comparison to the amount of kids who are in the greater Carmel school district area that are actually on the swim team, it's a fraction. You know, you can say for a classroom, everybody's using that. You can say for computers, everybody's using those. You can say for textbooks, everybody's using those. Science labs, whatever. This is a specific thing for a specific group of people, and it is done because, well, we have this program that we like, and as with everything else with Carmel, we have to be the biggest and the baddest and the bestest. Period. That's all this is. It's grandiose. It's excess. And that's fine, except for the fact that these are the sort of things that we are led to believe, despite seeing these sort of things, we are led to believe that if any sort of property tax reform, $55 million on a aquatic center, Brad.
To put that in perspective, Rob, I did quick math in my head. That would fund 90 teachers for 10 years. And some people say, well, Brad, you don't understand. They have certain silos. You know, the money for the teachers comes out of this one bucket, and then you got another bucket for facilities. Okay, I just pulled it up. Victory Field, a beautiful facility downtown Indianapolis, $18 million.
That's right. That's correct. I mean, it is gross how these people are spending this money and then having the audacity to cry foul. And we've talked about it in all these communities. I mean, There's a $4 million empty patch of grass where I live that you can't get hardly any answers about what's going on there.
You let your dog poop on it?
Well, he's no longer with us, Brad. But
I thought there was a replacement.
No. We're done in the we're done in the dog business in my house for the foreseeable future.
I'm sorry, Rob.
But you've got $12 million tennis courts in Westfield. You've got that G League arena in Noblesville. I mean, all of these communities. Pick your favorite suburban community, and they have some egregious expenditure of money that, if they didn't do it, could go to help countless amounts of people. And by the way, the one thing that always gets me, like in this article, they talk about how, well, the way we're bonding, it's not raising anyone's taxes. Bull. The way bonds work, bonds are a tax because it's an expenditure. You take that money and you have to have tax dollars to pay off the bond. But the way the schools do it, they do this stuff all the time, where debt will fall off, something they had, some building or whatever, it falls off, they've got it paid off, and then they immediately move to reestablish that debt with some new bright, shiny object. And the tax rate won't change because they're just spending that money again. But if they didn't spend the money, everybody would see a massive tax cut.
You'd say that, but their incentive is if the tax in Brownsburg, if the tax rate went down, so if they let those bonds fall off and they didn't replace it with something, sadly, the city of Brownsburg would then fill that gap. They would grab all that money from the property taxes, and the taxpayer would never see any sort of a decrease.
So just remember, in the coming weeks, and by the way, how frustrating is it, Brad, that the radio guys are selling the property tax reform bill harder and better than the people who wrote the property tax bill?
Yeah.
This is so damn frustrating that we've been begging for a month and a half now from these people. Tell us what the plan is to sell this thing. We will go to the mat for you. I think we've proven that we can motivate people and we can organize people and we can get things done. And I've been asking for a month and a half on this now. Tell me what the plan is. When are the hearings? Where are the hearings? We need to be able to get people to these things. And yet, why aren't you guys making this argument? Why is the radio guy talking about the $55 million pool in Carmel?
We need to engage WoWo on this.
I think they're trying to, Brad. Okay. My point in all this is you're going to hear the doomsday scenario, and the reality is this is where huge portions of your property tax money is going to stuff like this. And in Westfield, they're looking at building a 10,000-seat open-air arena, maybe or maybe not for a outdoor arena, maybe for a soccer team. So little old ladies might be flushed out of their homes because they can't afford their property taxes. But man, we can't do anything about that because well, Carmel really needs a $55 million swimming pool. Yes. All right, we'll take a break. Victoria Sparks joins us next. She was there for the big Trump speech yesterday. She was there for the inauguration. We'll talk about it next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
It's a new year. It's time to get your home Zero-Resified. Call Zero-Res and take 24% off all services for this month. Book online anytime at ZeroResIndy.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
More hearings on Trump's cabinet. It's sunny and 3 degrees downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Confirmation hearings being held today for 2 of President Trump's nominees. New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik and Air Force veteran and former Georgia Representative Doug Collins are both on Capitol Hill. Stefanik is up for U.S. Ambassador to the UN, while Collins is up for Secretary of the VA. Marco Rubio is now Secretary of State after being confirmed last night by the Senate.
One of the primary goals of American foreign policies is the promotion of peace. Of course, peace through strength, peace and always without abandoning our values. But I think it's extraordinary that it's something that needs to be said and hasn't been said enough in recent memory.
He resigned from his post as senator from Florida after the confirmation vote. A snowstorm is likely to impact the Deep South. Cold weather is also affecting millions, and the governors of Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi have all declared states of emergency. The storm is set to bring snow, ice, and freezing rain through Wednesday, making travel conditions down there treacherous. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Recent talk about rising interest rates and economic uncertainty may have you wondering if now is the right time to sell your home. Will I get the price I need? Will it take too long? The good news, you don't have to figure this out by yourself. There's a friendly, no pressure, experienced agent who eats and sleeps Indianapolis real estate, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried you won't sell your home for the price that you need. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Crystal and Franklin had to say about working with Mark Dietl. I was moving to Kentucky and needed to move fast. I got the Mark Dietl marketing plan and was blown away. The plan worked. I got a full list price offer in the first weekend. Just like that, Mark and his team got it done. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl, 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Howard Bailey Financial is now in Carmel on Rangeline Road. For over 20 years, we've helped people navigate their retirement journeys, and now we're bringing our experience closer to home. Visit retirecarmel.com to schedule your appointment or text Carmel to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement resource. Together, let's build the retirement you deserve. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
According to industry experts, heating costs are going up again this year, up to 23%. If you're tired of turning up the heat in the morning and the furnace working overtime, it's time to call Window Nation.
50% off all style of windows. Plus, you don't pay anything. No interest for 2 years. Call right now, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com. Windownation.com. Be sure to tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
If you recently lost health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Marcus when he lost his job, and Keisha when she turned 26 and lost her parents' insurance, and Elena when she went off Medicaid. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, it's our 98th annual New Year's sale. Save 50% off on all Lazy Boy and Indiana-made Smith Brothers of Bern, plus an extra 15% off when you pay cash or get 3 years interest-free financing. Every sofa, sectional recliner is on sale only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus with free delivery.
B is offering one bath remodel for as low as $99 a month, or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
So let's find out what it was like to be in the room with Trump yesterday. 93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob, Brad's in for Casey today. Let's go to the WIBC hotline, joined on the hotline by Victoria Sparks. She is the Republican representative for Indiana's 5th Congressional District, and she was in the rotunda yesterday with Trump. All right, Victoria, tell us all about it.
Good morning. Well, thank you for having me. It was really great energy. It was very, very inspirational. Very good day. And I'll be honest with you, I think President Trump delivered what he promised, and he's the person, as expected, that he follows through. He's not a typical politician that just does the talk. So, and people were really looking forward to this moment, and a lot of people came here. Unfortunately, as the weather and everything else, and hopefully we govern better than we organized the Inauguration Day, and I think D.C. was in a terrible situation with the weather and cold and how the event had to move around, but that's okay. Everyone was still happy. Everyone was excited, and his speech, I think he gave a little bit better off the cuff speech. He actually told himself to the second audience because he didn't follow the script, and I think it's always better. He actually called it A+ speech when he gave to the second group of people.
Okay, so walk us through. I was very curious about this. Which room were you in, and who were the people in the second room? My wife and I were trying to figure this out. Like, how did they decide who got to go in what room? Can you walk us through that?
Well, I think, they kind of scrambled last second with all of the changes, so the only members of Congress, some, very close family to President Trump and members of, his cabinet were able, and maybe some of his special guests were able to be in the rotunda because it's a pretty small area, so we couldn't all fit more than people. And then, most of the time it would be just, spouses and family members of, some Congress people, or could be some special guests. So but it was, smaller room too. But I think President Trump was not even going to speak at that second room. And then he is very good. Like, he understands how much people spend energy, time, and money even coming here, and then things moving around, and a lot of people were not able to participate. So he's very good at trying to attend as many places as possible and talk to people. So he actually didn't have a speech to go there, but it ended up being, it's an Emancipation Hall. That's where it was. It was actually a very good speech, and a very long speech, too.
So, Congresswoman, were you in the rotunda?
I was in the rotunda, and then I had to pick up my daughter. I was going to the other room, so actually I listened to both of his speeches, and it was nice. And I like when he actually speaks what he, because it's very important, to have someone who actually tell you the truth as a president. You know where you stand with him, whether you like it or not. And he truly means what he says, and he follows through on his campaign promises. We haven't had people like that for a while, so it's very refreshing. A lot of people are very excited, and I think, he'll do a lot of good things. And I truly believe he wants to be great president for all Americans. And sometimes he does special operations, but, as you know, this place, you have to do it. Otherwise, you'll never be able to drain the swamp.
Victoria Sparks, our guest, Congresswoman for Indiana's 5th Congressional District. All right, so what happens now? Is there some big team meeting? Do you guys get together? I mean, you got a lot of things on the agenda, everything from immigration to this reconciliation bill. Kind of how does this all work together now, since Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the presidency?
Well, I think, administration does their own things. Right now, as you saw, they have a lot of executive orders. But as I said before, we were talking, we cannot govern by executive orders. So, these great things are only going to last for 4 years. So if we want them to last for 40 years, so at least more than 4 years, we need to put it in the law. And reconciliation is going to be moving very quickly. Unfortunately, it was decided to move it faster than I probably would prefer. So we'll have to start writing laws, getting them through committees, and start looking at the policy. But the biggest one is spending. How we are going to continue on, if we continue on this trajectory and don't do something about it, we will have a huge, huge problem and the collapse of economy very soon. I mean, this is a very serious situation, and a lot of lobby in D.C. now doesn't like it, so it's going to be a big fight.
So are you going to file any bills that kind of codify these executive orders, and what are you most looking forward to?
I am looking how we're going to be fixing health care. I have a variety of areas I work on, and I actually write, laws. I'm going to work on a variety of bills. But first, we need to concentrate on reconciliation. So I'm working on some of the reforms to health care, which is the biggest driver of spending. And this is where we need to come up with trillions, of offset, because we cannot be reducing revenue and increasing spending at the same time. So if we're going to have $4 to $5 trillion or more reduction of revenue. There are going to be some growth, but not that much, then we need to looking at expenditures. So we need to find, the areas of waste, fraud, and abuse, and healthcare is prime for it. I mean, this is just, we are truly now money laundering, we have a money laundering operation, and money laundering our children and the future of our children. So I think we need to put a stop to it, but it's going to be a very tough battle because that's probably the strongest lobby in Washington, D.C.
You make a good point, because one of the things we've been a little critical of is he says, hey, we got to get rid of wasteful spending, but then he never lays out what that is. And like they've said, well, entitlement reform is off the table. We're not touching Social Security. We're not touching Medicare. Well, if you're not touching that, what are you doing? I mean, have you guys been able to pin him down at all about what this getting rid of wasteful spending looks like? And do you think he's willing to play ball with you guys if you lead on what that is?
Well, listen, we're Article 1 branch, right? We need to give a proposal, and I think he'll be open-minded to a lot of ideas. I discussed a few things but with him, too, but I think it's important for us to make a proposal to write the law, and then we'll have to see where Senate is. And I think President will be on the board with a lot of these issues. But that's job of Congress to actually do fiscal oversight, regardless who is in charge, Republican or Democrat in the executive branch. We have a constitutional responsibility, to write our laws, to do fiscal oversight, to do appropriations, and deal with spending and waste abuse in the systems. Because by the time we'll have they have to go through executive orders, appointments, it will be concentrated through a lot of other things. We have to start doing our job. And unfortunately, Congress has been neglecting its job for such a long time, so you cannot get out of this mess overnight. So you have to have a gradual plan. And unfortunately, no one is ready to govern here. So we'll have to really try to push it. And there's going to be some fight because we have a lot of people in my party that like to spend this, they like to campaign back home, that we are trying to be fiscally responsible. We're doing this, but they like to spend as well as Democrats. And that's a big part of my party. So they'll have to put their money where their mouth is if they want to, run on, a lot of spending. If you want to give money left and right, then they should be running on the other side or be at least honest with the people they represent.
So Republicans are only guaranteed 2 years of having the House, Senate, and the presidency. How in those 2 years do Republicans push through a smaller government agenda and fiscal responsibility, and how do they not squander this opportunity?
We don't have really 2 years. We have less than a year. And really, since reconciliation is moving now, we probably have, 3 to 4 months to deliver. And that's what I told President. It's, this reconciliation is going to be your legacy because ultimately, unfortunately, a lot of things are not going to happen because we don't have 60 senators. So we will not be able to pass a lot of good things, make them into law. Reconciliation is the only time where we'll be able to actually, with 50 senators, we'll be able to, make something last and make real laws. So that's why, having two reconciliation would have been much better, because we would have at least a little bit more time till the end of the year, and his teams and DOJ and his agencies would be able at least to look some of the things and help us out, and bring some things to the table. Now they don't have time. They've been, they're busy still to go in, through the Senate hearings. So we will have to do it on our own, and this institution hasn't been doing it very well. So we really have now, I thought, two reconciliation. Now we're moving very likely to one. We'll see. Might change still, but, so we have one reconciliation and a few months to save this republic. So it's going to be a battle. And the Washington, D.C. machine and mine already spending a lot of political power to try to put pressure and intimidate. You can see they're already writing articles about Budget Committee Chair, who is actually, I work with him a lot of time. We're good friends, and he's been holding the ground. I'm really proud of him for a change. We have a budget chair who says, oh, my God, we cannot continue this insanity. And they're like, how come budget chair actually is telling that we should do something that we promised to the people? We should start dealing with spending. that's unusual.
Well, we're going to count on you because I have no idea how you're going to meld these liberal state Republicans who want like the SALT deduction to come back into play versus with the Chip Roy and people like yourself. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you'll keep us up to date. Victoria Sparks, we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Oh, listen, I've actually, it's not as hard, as you think. The hard is going to be the Senate, but I think the House will be a fight too, and leadership doesn't want to do some things, and we'll have to make them. I'm working on making Republicans mediocre again.
There you go.
That is the line of the day.
There you go.
Right
Make
there.
Republicans mediocre again. You should trademark that. Victoria Sparks, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show. We crack the mic at 3:06. Biggest stories in Indy, and buy tickets now for our charity bowling event. It's presented by Jack Daniels. Go to the events page of WIBC.com.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
Well, I don't know if you noticed outside, it's a little cold right now, and if you are cold outside, you could be cold inside if your windows aren't working properly, and that is where my friends from Universal Windows Direct come in, because right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. That's right. For every 2 you buy, the next 2 absolutely free, no limit. Plus, 36 months, no interest financing. That's 3 years for you to pay your windows without a single cent of interest. Plus, on top of that, if you already received a quote from another company, bring it to Universal Windows Direct, and they'll beat it. Now, some restrictions may apply. So to get all the information, call Universal Windows Direct today at 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. And schedule your free in-home estimate. Oh, yeah, in the meantime, you can see some of their work on the web, everything they have to offer. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. UniversalWindowsDirect.com, 317-659-7574. Tell them Rob sent you.
I'm Jeff Jr., founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth. I was born and raised in northern Wisconsin by both my father, who owned a small 10-lane bowling alley, and my mother, who was a nurse, who did her best caring for everyone in our small town. My parents stressed with me that if you were going to do anything, it needed to be done right or not done at all. I later joined the Marine Corps, where additional values were instilled. Values like honor, courage, and commitment. The motto of the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, which means always faithful. The best part of Trajan Wealth, our 100-plus employees who also embrace the exact same values. If your current financial advisor is more interested in selling you something or is more loyal to their own financial gain than yours, give us a call for a second opinion. We would be honored to hear from you. Call Trajan today. 317-480-4040. That's 317-480-4040.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Indiana Foundation Service comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at indianafoundation.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for detail.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Early
early bird special, only $49.99 guaranteed. Also, lose all the weight and let Mark Patrick Hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars Thursday, January 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m., stop smoking seminar at 8. Or Saturday, January 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, we all won money last night, but we lost in our hearts. Notre Dame goes down. You're very lucky. You almost lost money and lost in your heart, but a late big-time pass and the field goal and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish not only lost, but Ohio State with the 8-point cover. And, well, congratulations.
Thank you. Nige and I went big on that bet. We put, $100 each on that game, which, okay, decent amount. I've certainly bet bigger, but, in these day and ages of us being family men now, it's $100 a game once in a while. It was that last night, and we were cruising for a while. Yeah. And then the wheels fell off, and it looked like Notre Dame was going to backdoor cover this thing. And then in poetic justice, it's almost like a movie, right? Kickers who had been screwing me all year, finally, one comes through and hits a field goal that I need, and that was the ball game.
Yeah, so you and I both wrapped up for the purpose of the show because we had done the Degenerates Next Door College Football Championship game last week. When the odds came out, we had it at -8, so we hit that one. That was our final college football play of the year, and I think we both finished over 500.
Yes.
You did a little better than I did, but I think we both finished over 500 for the college football season.
Listen, I always say when you go to Vegas, if you break even, that's a win, right?
For sure.
If you come home with close to the same amount of money you went with, that's a win. You had a good time, you gambled, and you're coming home with about the same.
They might have comped you a couple beers.
Right, right. Take that every time.
Yeah, and the same thing for me with the playoffs is with the playoffs. NFL and college, I was under, and then we've had a strong playoffs, and it's how you close. Notre Dame, give them credit, they made that game close and actually somewhat interesting, but man, just not on Ohio State just on another. How did they lose to Michigan?
That's what I kept thinking the whole game. How did these guys lose to that basic Michigan team? It wasn't like this was Michigan's team from, 2 years ago when they won it all with that, it had a good quarterback and a great defense. It was a very mid-Michigan team, and they lost at home. How does that team lose that game?
Yeah.
I don't know. But now the Degenerates Next Door Tuesday podcast, because we do this Tuesday and Thursday, we start shifting to college basketball, maybe a little NBA
Fade
once in a while.
IU has entered the chat.
Fade IU has entered the chat. So we've got plays tonight. This podcast will drop at 1 o'clock. So the pod that we're doing today, moving forward, will be action for this night.
Yeah.
Right? Because the basketball lines rarely come out multiple days in advance. So it's action tonight and then some other conversations. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And thank you, as always, to StatFactory.io, proud sponsor of the Degenerates Next Door. Sign up for their free preview. Since we're shilling things here, don't forget, if you buy an I Love or I Hate Rob Kendall t-shirt by the end of this month at the Hammer and Nigel store, 1, it's 15% off with the promo code.
Yeah.
And 2, all the money that we make a profit on goes to charity. So Rob and I aren't making a single penny here. So buy your shirt, and where's the charity?
Project Rescue, fighting human sex trafficking across the globe. So you can tell everybody how much you hate me, and I don't get a penny of it.
Now, we've also got 2 new items we've just added. And I put this just now on the Hammer and Nigel Show Facebook and Twitter. You could be the first person to own a Gulf of America t-shirt.
No.
It's a shirt that says Gulf of America on it. There's a picture of the Gulf, and it's scribbled out like with a marker, and it just says America on it. So that's available. And for those who are into that Squid Game show, we have a Squid Game parody from Netflix.
Oh.
It's something that, people, around your age normally watch,
No
Rob,
kidding.
but you're 90. It's a parody of that, and I think you'll enjoy it. All the failed candidates in the back, 2 pictures of Trump up front. Store.hammerandnigel.com. Gulf of America, baby.
It's coming up this afternoon.
We're going to do caller roulette.
Hey, we love caller roulette.
So we may get fired today. We'll see what happens.
All right, Brad's in for Casey. That's Jason Hammer. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC. Are you thinking this year I want to look and feel better and get my hair back? We Grow Hair Indy can help you do just that. I'm Rob, and I got my hair back at We Grow Hair Indy. Here's Darren Andrews, clinic director, to tell you why I chose them.
For nearly 20 years, we've helped thousands of clients grow their hair back, and we can help you. We're one of only 2 places in the entire country to offer the Artist Robotic FUE and multi-unit hair grafting.
I got multi-unit hair grafting. I love the results and cannot believe how much hair I got back. I can't recommend them enough. Call right now, 317-522-2995 for a free evaluation. Great technology, great company, great people, great results. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, see my results, and call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Don't you want to say, I got my hair back?
Hammer and Nigel here. It's a new year. Time to keep that promise of getting your testosterone levels checked. Lacking energy, muscle mass, or have low libido? Could be low T. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer. Nobody matches the experts at Low T Center. And don't settle for a standard dosage TRT plan.
For current patients, Low T Center offers $150 referral credits when you refer a new patient. LowTCenter.com to book that appointment right now. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today? Today.
B is offering 1 bath remodel for as low as $99 a month, or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
Coming up in 2 minutes, it's really cold throughout the Indy Metro. Some advice from the experts, plus why a man walked into Eskenazi Hospital with a gunshot wound overnight, and who the Colts are bringing in as their new defensive coordinator. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Back on the job. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
This man is already doing more in less than 24 hours than his predecessor did in 4 years.
White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt on Fox and Friends after President Trump signs dozens of executive actions and orders in the hours after his re-inauguration yesterday, many meant to undo former President Biden's agenda, also pardoning nearly every one of crimes related to the Capitol riot at the end of Trump's first term. The president said a national prayer service this morning.
President Trump's first full day back in office starts with an interfaith service of prayer for the nation at the Washington National Cathedral. The church says the special service will, quote, offer prayers of thanksgiving for our democracy and to seek God's guidance in the years ahead.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz in D.C. Marco Rubio is the first Trump cabinet member sworn in as Secretary of State.
One of the primary goals of American foreign policies is the promotion of peace. Of course, peace through strength, peace and always without abandoning our values, But I think it's extraordinary that it's something that needs to be said and hasn't been said enough in recent memory.
Secretary Rubio meets with his Australian, Indian, and Japanese counterparts today. There's been at least one fatal crash with multiple fatalities, we're told, near La Pryor, Texas, during a winter storm that's stretching across the south.
From New Orleans to the Florida Panhandle, as much as a half a foot of snow could fall, and that's prompting everything from schools to businesses to close for at least today.
Pretty much the whole town shut down, so you want it to because nobody here knows how to drive in it.
He is in way across Georgia, not far from the Florida line. Governors in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama have all declared cold weather emergencies, and communities are opening special shelters where people can stay warm. In Broward County, Florida, Eben Brown, Fox News.
At least 66 people are reported killed in a fire at a 12-story ski hotel resort in Turkey. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Cold air has settled in. Radar is clear. It's partly cloudy and 4 degrees downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. An Arctic blast has moved cold air from the north into Indiana.
In such conditions, you can get frostbite in as little as 30 minutes, so you want to limit your time outdoors as much as possible.
Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service, who says we'll have single-digit highs today, with wind chills making it even colder. Things warm back up by Thursday. A man shot overnight while trying to break up a fight. It was early this morning when a man walked into Eskenazi Hospital downtown with a gunshot wound. He told the cops that he was shot at a home along Woodrow Avenue and near West Washington Street. He said that he got caught in the middle of trying to break up a fight between 2 other men. Indiana's governor, Mike Braun, is making a move on Medicaid, and not everyone is on board with it. John Herrick explains.
You might recall this announcement earlier this month from the state's Secretary of Family and Social Services Administration, Mitch Rube.
Effective upon Governor Braun's inauguration, we stopped advertising for Medicaid.
Rube calls it an effort to constrain Medicaid eligibility. Democrats are calling this measure unfair. The Indianapolis NAACP said Monday that restricting information about Medicaid benefits undermines both public health and equity. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
He says he's a political prisoner.
Themes are pretty common, throughout history, through important people throughout history, Jesus, the apostles, different political leaders.
That's Anthony Vo, who is detained in Canada. He was convicted for taking part in the Capitol riots 4 years ago, but instead of serving his sentence, he jumped ship to Canada, where Canadian authorities believe he entered illegally. Vo, who is from Indiana, is hoping for a pardon from President Trump. Lou Anarumo is the new defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts, the team announcing his hiring on Monday. He comes to the Colts from the Cincinnati Bengals, where he was the DC for 5 seasons. He helped Cincy to a Super Bowl appearance in 2021. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So Brad sent me a text last night in a panic saying he may have a big problem on his hands, and we're going to work through it on this, because it relates to this news story.
I appreciate it, Rob.
No problem. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Kev's here. Old pal Kloffenstein-Stein, Brad Kloffenstein-Stein, the head honcho over at the Greater Lawrence Chamber of Commerce.
Hashtag why I love Lawrence.
Here for Casey. All right. So saw this. I think you had sent me the article from Yahoo Finance. Maybe I found it on Drudge. I don't know. It all merges together. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And it's talking about, and we need to get Mark Dietel. I know I've said this several times. We need to get Mark Dietel back on the show to get an update, because it's talking about how the home industry is being affected as mortgage rates have kind of stalled out at or very near 7%.
Yeah.
And one of the anticipations when the Federal Reserve had cut interest rates was that then mortgage rates would correspond in a downward fashion.
That's the way it's supposed to work, Rob.
But because of, and it's a very complex thing, but part of, they have so overcooked this economy. The economy is so much money has been thrown into it, and there's so much phony baloney bull crap going on, and the interest rates were low for so long that the economy overcooked itself to the point where the mortgage rates really can't come down right now because there's so much money in the economy.
Yes. It's like a slinky. So you take that slinky and you stretch it out as far as you possibly can, and sometimes it has to come back together before you can stretch it out again.
And this has really created a problem for people like you. And by the way, my response to you is I said you need to call Mark Dietel and you decide you're interested in selling your home.
It's already on the market.
Yeah.
Which it's...
You got to call
a
Mark
couple
Dietel.
showings the first week it was on the market. I actually had an offer that was accepted, and then the buyer either backed out or allegedly their financing fell through.
Yeah.
But they've been pre-approved just 2 weeks before, so I think they backed out. And yeah, I let them back out, but yeah, now all of a sudden the showings have stalled on it.
Well, so, you think about, like, for the average home, let's just take a $300,000, the amount of money we're talking about here based at, like, what interest rates, and I'm not talking about the 2.5 we saw in 2020-21. I'm just talking even 2 or 3 years ago, you could get a 3.5, whatever interest rate. So if you were to take, let's say you did, a $300,000 home, which is by no means an exorbitant home, especially at today's prices.
I would say that's fairly average in central Indiana.
If you were able to get in at 3.5%, 4 years ago, on a $300,000 home, and let's say you made the 20% down, $60,000 down payment. Let's not even say, let's say 10. Is it 10%? Is that what's kind of required now?
10%.
All right, we'll say 10%. So let's say you made the 10% down payment at 3.5%. The mortgage calculator says your monthly payment with interest would have been $1,212.
Okay, that's before property taxes and insurance. That's just the principal and interest.
Yeah, so payable. Yeah, right. So give you we're ballparking it here, right? Of course. Now let's say you did it with 7% interest. Okay, so remember 12 was the number.
Okay.
Now that number becomes $1,796.
No wonder I can't sell a house.
So we've been through this before, but you're almost talking a $600 monthly difference for the same property being bought at the same price. And so what you run into is this, by the way, your total you would have paid on that. We'll take a guess on what the total amount you would have paid if you went 30 years. Let's say you got a 30-year mortgage at 7%. On 30% down, what do you think your total amount of money you will have paid on a $300,000 house is at 7%?
Gosh, it'll be in the millions.
Oh, not quite. $676,674.
Wow. Well, I know that this house I'm selling, I bought it 19 years ago, and it was just in the last 30-year mortgage, just conventional mortgage. It was just in the last 6 months where I finally started putting more money towards principal than interest.
Yeah. So compare that to if you'd gotten that same rate at 3.5%, you're only paying $466,000 for the life of that loan. Yeah. So, it's $200,000 difference. So the point of all of this is, and you're experiencing this now in real time, it's getting harder and harder and harder for buyers. Because one, the idea of approval is getting tougher. Think about it. $500, $600 is just disappearing into the same thing. It's all about when you buy it.
Oh, it is.
And one of the things that I think is most scary about the economy right now, and Casey and I got into this a little bit last week, is if you shop around, especially with your larger lending institutions or your larger banking institutions, I should say, a lot of them are offering very short-term CDs right now or investment opportunities at a higher rate.
Right. And it's because they're not sure where the economy is going.
So I have a friend who is, an acquaintance who's in that business, and we were talking about this, and he goes, we have no idea what's about to happen here. And he said that's it's a horrible way, because investments and the economy respond to good news and they respond to bad news. They know how to deal with those things. What they don't deal with well is uncertainty. And the anticipation is that interest rates are going to go down under Trump. But we saw the Fed rate cuts, and it has not corresponded into the home lending industry. So I don't know. I don't know what the average person is supposed to do right now.
It's fascinating because there's a housing crisis. I mean, you hear about that almost daily. There's far more people looking for places to live than there are places to live. So there is low inventory, but the rates are high, prices are high. I don't know how you rectify this.
Because we had talked about in many various times of my existence, I ponder how happy I would be getting out of Warehouseburg there on the west side and just going and living in the woods somewhere. But then I look at the realization of how low my loan is, because I got in several years ago, and what that corresponding payment is to what I could sell my house for, and with the equity in my house, what I could afford to buy. I'd be into one of these 7% interest deals, and I'm stuck.
Yeah, that's the rub. That's the rub. You can't afford to get out of your low interest house right now.
Yeah, I mean, and people are going, look at him complain. I mean, I'm not complaining, right? I mean, I have created. Now it goes up every year thanks to property taxes and insurance.
All your radio riches. Surely you're looking at property on Geist or Morse.
You know what? I every year somebody told me this years ago. I had a friend in real estate, and they said that if you make 2 extra mortgage payments a year on a 30-year mortgage, you can cut up to 15 years off the life of the mortgage by making 2 extra payments a year. Now, consult your trained professional. I'm not telling anybody to do that, but that is amazing how much money gets gobbled up in interest on your mortgage. Most people just pay it. They don't actually look at, good chance. Like you said, you just now eclipsed where more is going to principal than to interest.
Now, the other side of that coin is if you've got money at 3%, there's no sense in paying that off early because you could put it in a CD at 5% or 6%.
Well,
so
this is the other balancing act of the economy right now is how do you invest your money? And Bill Demery, our investment guy, would be a great guy to talk to this about. Like, how do you juggle all of that? Because I remember growing up, I was always taught debt is a bad thing. My grandparents felt this way. My father felt this way. Debt is a horrible thing. Get all your debt wiped out as fast as you can because you're just throwing money away with interest, which is right. But if you can make more on investments, fixed or otherwise, the market, then your interest, and you're in at the 3%, like you said, you're kind of silly to do the right thing or air quote right thing and pay your home off early.
Especially on real estate because it's also appreciating every year.
That's right.
So if it appreciates 2 or 3%, then you're not really paying interest at that point. Then it's just you're using the bank's money.
Yeah. And all right. So good luck.
Thank you.
We'll get
Thank you.
Call our friend
if
Mark
anybody
Deal.
like a nice home over by Irvington, you let me know.
Brad complaining about his multiple homes that he has to. Have you ever thought about going into the home rental business?
I have, and I've dabbled in it, and ultimately, I'm not a real handy guy.
Yeah.
I think if I was more of a handyman, it's those late night calls of, oh my gosh, the water heater's leaking, that I don't want to have to deal with.
Because I have a good friend who had an extra house, and they turned it into an Airbnb, and they make pretty good money because they both are. His wife has a job. Well, she's not self-employed. She has a work-from-home job, and he is in a gig economy where he has his days free, so they can go every day when someone checks out and reset the house and everything. And I thought, man, if you had the time and kind of the know-how to do enough of the basic stuff to a home, you could probably make, given what these things are renting for now, you could probably make a little decent side living off of that.
Actually, my wife and I have talked. This house is directly across the street from Community East Hospital. If this thing doesn't sell by spring, we might try to turn it into a short-term rental for traveling nurses and that sort of thing. I'm not sure how
You could.
How community hospital would work with us on that. But, I mean, it's certainly convenient.
Yeah, is it big enough that you could have multiple people?
Yeah, that's a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
Big 2-bedroom.
Then you could rent it out to multiple people.
Yeah.
You could just be running a... What is it? Is it a hostel? Is that what it's called, Kev? Isn't that what they call them abroad?
Yeah, it could be like a European-style hostel.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, let's take a break. Do you know anything about crypto?
No. Well, very little. I would know a little.
Okay, because there's a Trump crypto, and people are up in arms over the Trump crypto. And I was looking at how it went up and down over the past couple days, and it's like schizophrenic how it's doing. So you and I, neither one of us know anything about crypto, but we're going to talk about something we know absolutely nothing about when we come back.
And people will listen to our advice.
Oh, absolutely. No advice whatsoever. Consult your trained professional. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Homes lost.
Never seen anything like what's happening in LA.
Lives shattered.
All my neighbors across the top, their houses are gone.
There's fire on both sides of the road.
Multiple businesses and homes have been destroyed.
California wildfire survivors need your support.
When things like this occur, you really realize how vulnerable you are.
If you can spare $10, $15, or $20, go to redcross.org.
It's like a bad, horrific dream.
Thank you for your support. From 93 WIBC.
Health gives you the ability to love more, feel more, be more. Health gives you the ability to live an extraordinary life. Because every day, no mater the challenges, is a chance to breathe, laugh until your belly aches, cry because you care so much, and experience everything that makes your life truly extraordinary. For 150 years, Franciscan Health has been there, watching extraordinary lives unfold. Love your extraordinary life.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. If your garage floor looks bad with stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your entire garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job or chipping paint makes your garage or basement look worse. With one quick call to 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, I can save you $1,000 on a new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor during our winter sale. A Comer & Cross concrete floor coating is the gold standard. Guaranteed. A Comer & Cross garage floor won't chip, crack, show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. And here's the Comer & Cross difference. We make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. And one day, you'll love your new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor, guaranteed. Call us right now for your quick and easy quote and details on $1,000 off during our winter sale. Even our number's easy. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
Jewelry Gram. It's your friends at Shane Company, here to remind you that Valentine's Day is Friday, February 14th. It's the most romantic day of the year to give and get fine jewelry. We have expertly crafted gifts for every type of sweetheart. For the one, we'll help you propose with the dream engagement ring. Come see our wide selection of hand-picked natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes. In stock and ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Or maybe you'll fall in love with the natural, colorful gemstone. At Shane Company, we're known for our sapphires in every color of the rainbow. We have options for every style and budget. Get creative and design a custom necklace with meaningful charms, including 14-karat gold letters, engravable hearts, and birthstones. Our mother-of-pearl heart-shaped collection makes a perfect gift that's ready to give. At Shane Company, love is always in the air with our unmatched free lifetime warranty, everyday competitive prices, and no-pressure shopping experience. Come see us in-store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. and happy 50th.
The Christmas holiday is done. You got some great gifts, and you might find that you've got some old jewelry you're not going to be needing anymore with all that new jewelry you got. Take that old jewelry to PA Jewelers. Check out the buy room and find out how much you can get for that vintage jewelry and those gemstones. Talk to PA Jewelers today. They're more than a kiss. Inside Premier Arms, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg. 317-858-3030. 317-858-3030. Online at premierarms.com.
Book your custom patio project before March 1st and save up to $2,500. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Trump has allegedly made a fortune off a meme coin. But then, like, looking at the price, he may have also lost a lot of money, too. Let's try to make some sense of all of this. It is the Kendall and Casey show, because people are very upset about this. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Brad is here. So, in the build-up to the inauguration, Trump launched one of they call him a meme coin. And one of the problems with crypto is there's not a lot of official, like legislated action around it. And when there's not legislative action around something, it is left at the discretion generally of the executive branch as to how that's going to be enforced. So in the case of crypto, there's been all these fights about what to do with crypto, how to bring it mainstream. The House and Senate have had various ideas. Nothing's passed, which meant the Biden administration had interpreted crypto as, hey, this is basically a commodity, right? And we're going to regulate it the way other things are regulated by the SEC, which means disclosure requirements, things you have to do, the way you can handle it, how you can sell it, all these sorts of things. Trump, on the other hand, it is believed, will be much more lax in terms of those sort of things, and his SEC will not, and his administration will not enforce the rules the way Biden wanted to / was doing. And this Trump coin, I think is what it's called, got as high as 70. By the way, so there is a disclaimer when you buy this. It says they want you to, quote, buy your Trump crypto at gettrumpmemes.com. It's the name of the crypto. Like, why anybody would think this is a viable thing is beyond me. But to, quote, celebrate our win and have fun. According to MSN, the coin, they say, is, quote, not intended to be an investment opportunity, and it, quote, has nothing to do with any political campaign or any political office. So, to me, they've covered themselves, right? Like, this is what okay. They're telling you, whatever you're doing with this is on your own. This should not be an investment opportunity. If you want to do this to support Trump, great. But people are buying and selling these things on the open market, and it got as high as it got over $70 at one point. On the 19th, which is the day before the inauguration, it got as high as $74.71. It has now since gone down to, what is this? It's like $40 now, $40.03 as of this morning. So if you were in on these en masse, you've lost a fortune.
So it's kind of like baseball cards, where the value is whatever people will give you for it. I mean, I'm looking at something here that says that at one point it had made more than $50 billion on paper. It accounted for about 89% of Donald Trump's net worth.
The market cap of the Trump coin is $8 billion. It's down 17.04% today. The volume of trade is 23.94 billion over the last 24 hours, which is down 38.4%. So it comes back to a broader conversation here about, because it went through this, not the same thing, but something similar with the Haktua coin. Yes. That everybody lost a bunch of money, or not everybody, but some people lost a bunch of money on. There were some other influences that have a coin. I have said this for several years now, and people are like, well, the lack of regulation is what makes crypto great and why people want in it. It's never going to succeed long-term until there's some sort of government validity behind it, and that comes with rules and regulations.
Right. It comes with the faith of whoever the issuer is.
Thank you.
Which is I mean, the U.S. dollar, that's why it's used as the currency in several other nations around the world. It's because there's faith that the U.S. government will continue to be a government and an ongoing entity. The problem with crypto is, you're right, it's not regulated. You can't trace it. You can't get it back once it's gone. It is anonymous, and you're potentially at the whims of whoever the creator was.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen this when banks have gone under. The FDIC, if you've got, I don't know if the number's still 250,000. When I was a kid, you see those signs when I was a kid, 250,000. You know that if your bank goes under, that money is there, right? If your money gets stolen out of your account, there's a good chance your bank is going to track that and trace that and make it whole. Now, every bank's different, but you get what I'm saying. With crypto, if somebody gets your info and takes your thing, bye. You know, whatever it's worth, that's what, you've lost. And so I don't understand how in good faith you can make any sort of, now I get that a lot of people do this as a hobby. It's fun. It's like, oh, I bought X amount of this and I'm going to watch it. And that's my hobby now, is to watch the cryptocurrency. But I don't know how in good faith any serious investor could get into any of these things when you don't even know what the rules and regulations around it are going to be. Is it like has been rumored Trump's going to propose, where just everybody does their own thing with it? Or is it like Biden proposed, where, hey, there's all these guardrails around this? Now, like, when it goes from without legislation, when things go from one thing to this, and this is the thing about the executive orders with Trump, where people are like, oh, he's doing executive order on the border. Great. That's wonderful. But that doesn't last forever. That's his interpretation of it. What about after him? This is why things got undone when Biden came in there, because he's like, we're not doing that anymore. What can be put in by executive order can be taken out by executive order. There really does need to be some sort of understanding in writing from our government on how we're dealing with these crypto companies.
I'm sure that there are people who are listening right now who understand this far better than we do, and their heads are exploding, saying, those two guys don't know what they're talking about. This is really good stuff. But I mean, this is my impression is 20 years ago there was something called silver certificates, and there was this group that had actual physical silver, and then they would issue paper currency that was backed by these silver certificates, and then the government ended up putting them out of business, saying that you couldn't have some other type of currency. So you're now investing in crypto as if you're investing in pork bellies or frozen concentrated orange juice.
Yeah.
It is some commodity that is traded, and the traders will get way deep in the weeds and are trading on futures and that sort of thing. I don't fully understand all that. I'm sure investment people do, but I'm with you that this is a novelty act, but as a long-term investment strategy, I think it's probably not where you want to put your mortgage payment.
I mean, you think about the Bitcoin itself, and we've had this conversation before with people, and look, it's almost $106,000 now.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the start of the year, a year ago, it was around $40,000. I mean, Bitcoin, if you could have bought two of them, you've profited $120,000. If you had $80,000 laying around. But when you look at like the 5-year run of Bitcoin, it is interesting that it got as high as like 60. I remember Mock and I having this conversation when she was still here in 2021, late 2021. It was $60,000. It had risen in basically 2 years from something like $8,000 to $60,000. And I said, this is ridiculous. There's no rhyme or reason for it. And then it crashed, and it went down to as low as $16,000 at one point. He said, see, and now it's back up again. But it's all on the whims of who's getting elected, right? It's all on the whims of, okay, Trump's going to be this, but what about when Trump's gone? Yeah. And let's say a Democrat gets back in there. There's no, and I know the people that are the crypto are like, that's part of the charm. There is no guardrail to it. That's not sustainable.
You and I could create a Calvin Coolidge crypto.
We could. Yes, we could. So anyway, I don't know. Do people have a right? So this is the other part of the conversation. Then I know we got to take a break. But the other part of the thing is people are saying Trump, and I assume he's following all applicable laws and regulations, because I haven't heard anybody say he's not. You know that if he even breathed wrong, somebody would. But people are saying this guy who was the incoming president made a fortune off of this meme coin right before he was about to take public office. Is that right? Is that what we should be? is that a red flag?
It'll be interesting to watch this to see if somebody takes issue with it more than what's already going on now.
Because whether it's $40 a share or $80 a share or $70 a share, Trump's making a fortune off of this.
It'll become an issue when there's somebody who has lost everything, and then they start blaming Trump.
Yeah, I think this is just a very interesting time we live in. And let's face it, though, the reality is the government is to actually blame because they have so devalued our dollar through the irrational spending that people go, I'm looking for other places. We saw this with collectibles in 2020 and 2021. Now, a bunch of those have flamed out. You know, people paid super high premiums for collectibles, for baseball cards, things of that nature. And a lot of those haven't held their value. But, boy, I'll tell you what, if I could have gone back and let's see, January 25th of 2020, Bitcoin was $8,337, and today it is $105,900. So you've $97,000. If you could have bought 4 of them, I wouldn't have to work here anymore.
No.
I still would, though. Just to see you.
You'd just be more obnoxious.
It's the Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
One of several orders. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. President Trump is signing an executive order pardoning roughly 1,500 people convicted in the January 6th riots. In his first time back in the Oval Office since being sworn in as president, Trump signed the pardon for the defendants that he often called hostages. Marco Rubio has been sworn in as Secretary of State. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
The Secretary of State says foreign policy decisions in the Trump administration must be justified by the answer to one of 3 questions. Does it make the U.S. stronger, safer, or more prosperous?
If it doesn't do one of those 3 things, we will not do it.
Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody has been picked by Governor Ron DeSantis to replace Rubio in the Senate. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town, with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Best are us when dreams sunk in. Best are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
Best are us when dreams sunk in. Best are us.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church, and Life Church is still in the middle of their 21 days of prayer. Here's how it works. It's super simple. If you need prayer, or you know someone who needs prayer, or someone you'd like to pray for, head on out to any of Life Church's 4 Central Indiana campuses each weeknight, 6:30, Saturday mornings, or Sunday services, and they'll pray for you. Life Church knows that prayer is powerful, prayer works. They've prayed for me many times, and you can feel the difference prayer makes. See what Life Church is all about. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Learn more about it all on the web, lifechurchin.com. Are you thinking this year I want to look and feel better and get my hair back? We Grow Hair Indy can help you do just that. I'm Rob, and I got my hair back at We Grow Hair Indy. Here's Darren Andrews, clinic director, to tell you why I chose them.
For nearly 20 years, we've helped thousands of clients grow their hair back, and we can help you. We're one of only 2 places in the entire country to offer the ARTIS robotic FUE and multi-unit hair grafting.
I got multi-unit hair grafting. I love the results and cannot believe how much hair I got back. I can't recommend them enough. Call right now, 317-522-2995 for a free evaluation. Great technology, great company, great people, great results. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, see my results, and call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Don't you want to say, I got my hair back?
Febreze.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
The camaraderie and community you experience in high school sports is unlike anything else. I'm McKenna Cruz from Greenwood Community High School.
And I'm Sawyer Tittman from Fort Wayne Snyder High School. Where else do coaches help their players develop as athletes and as human beings?
Where else do student athletes grow together and grow up together?
Where else do parents and fans from all walks of life come together as one to cheer on their team?
High school sports are special because coaches, student athletes, and fans know they are all in it together.
The camaraderie and community we experience is just one reason why we love high school sports and why it is unlike anything else.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty. Be a champion of high school sports and the way they bring everyone together by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events. This is unity. This is pride in your community. This is your IHSAA.
B is offering 1 bath remodel for as low as $99 a month, or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
We got to talk real quick about what a dumpster fire the Indiana Democrat Party is. I mean, these people are a train wreck. It's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Brad's in for Casey. Kev's here. So for 2 days now, our old pal, we haven't mentioned her in a while, but she's back. Our old pal, Indiana Beto, Destiny Wells, has been fighting with Tony Katz on Twitter.
Why? Why does she fight with people?
Because she craves attention. So her name is Indiana Beto because she keeps losing and running. She got smoked by Diego Morales for Secretary of State. She said, I can do better the next time. Then she got smoked by Todd Rokita for Attorney General. And give her credit. She will not give up until she gets in some sort of elected thing. She's now running for to head the state party. And it's Jennifer McCormick, who is the spectacularly failed governor candidate. And then there's somebody else running too. And I'm looking at these people going, okay, the one woman has been a horrible candidate not once but twice. And her response to that is not to look in the mirror and go, why does everyone dislike me so much and change? She's fighting with a radio guy. And in her mind, she's doing great because she's sparring with Tony Katz on Twitter.
It's amazing that she's not sparring with you or Hammer.
Well, I've just given up. It's no point. Like, I had fun telling her what a pathetic loser she was during the election, but she lost again. I think the results speak for themselves. She's lost to the 2 biggest buffoons ever to hold statewide office in Diego Morales and Todd Rokita, and she got smoked both times. I think there's no point in me wasting any time engaging with her on social media. I think it's a waste of Tony's time too, but it's fascinating to me that this is all the Democrats can put forward is this dumpster fire, and then Jennifer McCormick, who did just about as bad as, she's less reprehensible than Wells is, but in terms of her behavior and attitude, but she's apparently just as bad a candidate because she got 40% of the vote as well.
Well, you got to figure the Democrats have a thin bench. So
as in none?
As in none, almost. So, whoever their chair is probably going to come from either South Bend, Lake County, Indianapolis, or maybe Bloomington or Evansville. But then you look, even in the state house, they've only got 10 senators and half of them are old. You've got 30 members of the House. The Democrats would do themselves well to go back to Carly Macer, who used to be the state rep from the West Side, who was at least reasonable, and say, hey, Carly, want to come out of retirement?
Well, and this is the problem. Destiny Wells ran an extremist-based campaign twice where she was talking as much or more about abortion than she was the job she was actually supposed to be doing. She's incredibly unlikable. And instead of learning and going, why do I keep losing by such overwhelming margins, she just keeps running for stuff, behaving in the same fashion. But then you look at McCormick and you go, what is what does she bring to the table? Clearly, she was just a less offensive version of the same campaign and did about the same. And the Democrats just appear to be content being total extremists in their views and totally irrelevant in terms of their ability to influence people at the ballot box.
You know, now with Biden out of office, this could be the Indiana Democrats' opportunity to distance themselves from the far left National Democratic Party. They would bet. They would. It won't happen, but they would do themselves well if they would.
All right, Brad, let's talk about your favorite topic when we come back. There's big-time gaming legislation on the table.
I can't wait. I'm excited about this, Rob.
Chance to bet in bars. We'll talk about it next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show. We crack the mic at 3:06. Biggest stories in Indy, and buy tickets now for our charity bowling event. It's presented by Jack Daniels. Go to the events page of WIBC.com.
The holidays are over, and the new year is here, making it the perfect time to think about the future. More specifically, it's the perfect time to think about your financial future. Right now, Howard Bailey Financial is offering a free retirement toolkit, a comprehensive guide designed to help you plan, save, and jumpstart the retirement you deserve. To get your free copy today, text FUTURE to 888-262-1104 and download your free retirement toolkit. Start 2025 off with a gift to yourself, filled with all the tools you need to plan for a positive and purpose-filled future. Just text FUTURE to 888-262-1104 to start planning today. Make this new year your year to invest in yourself and secure a brighter tomorrow, starting today. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and the holidays are gone, and it's time to get your house back to the clean you love. And Zerorez is doing their part to help with their best offer of 24% off all their cleaning services. All of them. Floors, tiles, carpets, rugs, upholstery, even your air ducts. Don't miss this deal. Get it all Zerorez-ified with a 24% off January sale. Look, this is the best Zerorez offer I've ever seen, and it won't last long. The Zerorez pros know how to get your carpets and floors and rugs and upholstery and ductwork too really clean. And they can help you deal with the deeply embedded dirt, dander, and allergens, not to mention the pet stains and some of your stains. The game changer is the patented ZR water that uses no soap, leaves no residue, and there are no harsh chemicals because they just aren't needed to get things really clean. I just love these folks. Just call them, mention WIBC, get 24% off right now. Call 317-388-5141 or book things online at ZerorezIndy.com.
Blood, sweat, tears. At Bill Estes, we know it takes hard work and years of doing the right thing to build a business people can depend on. That's why we don't make empty promises and expect your trust. Estes earns it. From Ford F-150s and Toyota Tacomas to Ram 1500s and Chevy Silverados, we have the trucks you'll love at prices you can believe in. But don't just take our word for it. Your trust means something. Estes earns it. BillEstes.com.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
It's Hammer and Nigel from Window Nation. Heating costs are getting out of control, and your best bet is to replace your cold, drafty windows with energy-efficient ones from Window Nation. Act now, and you'll save big with 50% off all window styles, plus you could get zero interest with zero payments for 2 years.
With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust Window Nation.
Hurry, this big sale ends January 31st, so schedule your free in-home consultation right now. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
In almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it is a one and done. Because we don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
It's the Degenerates Next Door, a sports betting podcast for dudes.
Real dudes, not the fake Kardashian-looking like dudes you see on television doing this. The Degenerates Next Door. Download and subscribe today anywhere you get your podcast.
Between the darkness on the street and the houses filling up with light.
Expansion of gaming could be a thing again, or maybe not. We seem to have this conversation every single year. 93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Our old pal, Brad Kloffenstein-Stein, in for Casey today. And Brad, since you've been such a good cohort, a good partner in crime today, we'll wrap up the show talking about something very close to your heart, gambling.
I love gambling. Actually, not as much as you love gambling, but I've been. It's funny. I'm basically a non-gambler, but I've been a bigger gambling advocate than just about anybody at the State House.
Well, I think your biggest thing, and I think obviously you're really. This sounds you're really into alcohol, Brad. You're really into beer, and you love that. But I think at your core, whether it's alcohol and the way alcohol is sold and distributed, or gambling is, look, if you're an adult and you've earned your money legally, then you should be able to spend it how you see fit. And if someone wants to offer a service or a product in a legal, legal upright mechanism, then they should be allowed to do that.
Right. Now, as my sister has once told me, gambling is just a tax on people who are bad at math. So before our listeners, the independent bar and restaurant industry has been near and dear to my heart ever since I sold beer back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And, in that time, we've gone from having horse racing to the Hoosier Lottery to then casinos. And then, we expanded casinos. And
sports betting.
Sports betting has come around. I feel like there's a couple others.
What are the things that maybe help our audience understand? Because I want to talk about these, what are they called? Video
gaming terminals.
VGTs. VGTs. All right, so I want to talk about that in a second. But I've tried to explain this to people over the years, and you're the perfect guy to do this. The complexity of the alcohol, arguably alcohol and gambling are the two most powerful lobbies in the state of Indiana. Would that be safe to say?
That's fair.
Yeah. And these people keep a stranglehold on these industries because they make a gajillion dollars off the government rigging the rules in favor of certain people.
Oh, for sure. They try to make it so that the average person cannot get into that industry.
Yeah. And so when we talk about the laws, can you explain how complex and thick, for lack of a better term, the gaming and alcohol laws are in this state?
They are complex enough that there is no one person that understands them all completely.
Yeah.
And, in fact, there's an agency, the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission, that has hundreds of people that work for that agency that try to implement and enforce laws and interpret and try to help people, sometimes better than others. But so they exist. You've got an entire gaming commission that I believe is still housed over at the Hyatt Regency. So they're not even in the state office complex. They're so big. And they go to all the horse tracks, all the casinos. They oversee charitable gaming with not-for-profits. So, and they've got a whole big rule book that they have to follow and they use to enforce. My thing on gaming is all of these other enterprises have gotten big and rich, and the only group that really has not been able to have a bite at the apple is the small bars and taverns.
Yeah, so what you're saying is, so these VGTs, video gaming terminals, would allow you, if you went into a local tavern who had a license, they would be able to put, whether it's poker or blackjack or whatever, on a screen. You put money in, and then you play that game. And if you, I'm sure I'm oversimplifying this or not getting the exact details correct, but for simplification of a radio segment, and then you gamble, right?
Right, exactly. It's not totally dissimilar from a slot machine at a casino. The difference is they're pari-mutuel, so that means you have a fixed pot, and then a percentage of that pot gets paid out, and then a percentage of that goes to the state and the operators of that game. It's small stakes, so I think typically the winnings are going to be capped at like $1,500 or $2,000. So it's not.
Am I right in saying though that that's what it would be? It's poker, or it's
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So the limitations are no more than 5 machines at any establishment. It's all tied into the state database, so the bar is not really handling any of the take. They just, the state cuts them a check at the end of the month or whatever. So you've got like a little, basically it's an ATM, and that's where the payouts come from. So it's not handled by the bar. So it's not like the old Cherry Masters of the days gone by. But it's very above board. But they've been doing this in Illinois for quite some time, and typically I don't look to Illinois for guidance on much of anything. However, this is the one thing they've gotten right. But this is something where the average bar in Illinois is getting about an extra $50,000 a year in revenue.
It's a lot of money.
It's enough money that you can fix up your bathrooms, or maybe you can put a new sign out front.
I did not realize it was actually that high. You're at $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's an incredible amount of money. And look, at the end of the day, if you're a law-abiding, consenting adult and you want to, I don't know, what do you slide money into these things?
Yeah, so you put money in it. I think that you could probably use a debit card.
You're right. My point is, though, if you want to spend your money that way, who is the state of Indiana to say, no, you can't do that?
Right. Well, and you're doing this at establishments that have already proven that they can sell adult products.
Right. They've been responsible merchants.
They are responsible merchants, and yes, they are already licensed by the state of Indiana. There's no reason to not do this.
So clearly, the casinos probably don't want this.
Correct. They don't want it because they think it's infringing on their turf, whereas the bars say, listen, every single one of our patrons can bet on sports at my bar, and the bar doesn't get a single nickel of that.
You're right.
So this is the bar's way of saying, all right, if people are going to be gambling in my establishment, I can at least get a cut now.
Okay, so this seems like I remember this coming up when I was at the state, and that was 10, 11 years ago, that these video gaming terminals have been a topic of discussion. There's another bill this year that would legalize these video gaming terminals. Is that correct?
It is House Bill 1672, authored by Representative Chris Judy.
Okay, so I've heard of him before.
Mm-hmm.
What are you hearing? Is there a chance this will? I just cannot imagine the casino industry is going to be like, yeah, okay, sure, fine.
Well, they will certainly fight the bars on this. Certainly, in the last few years, when the state's been flush with cash, there has not been a real need from the state to come up with new sources of revenue. This year, when they're saying that they're going to have to start slashing some programs, I think there might be a little bit more of an appetite to say, all right, what are some other avenues where we can go and get some voluntary tax revenue?
Yeah. So do you have any idea how, this is my pure curiosity, I could probably look it up, but I figured you would know. How do taxes on gambling work? So, like, if I put $1 in that machine, does 3 cents automatically go to the state of every? Like, how does that even work?
So this bill says that there would be 30%, and I need
so like three dimes of every dollar I put in would go to the state.
I think it's 3 dimes on the net. So on the payout, the payout's going to be 90% or 95%. So of that remaining 5. Then it gets divvied up to where the state gets a third.
Okay.
I believe the operating establishment gets a third, and then whoever owns the machine gets a third.
Okay, so it's not.
So it's not like it's only paying back 70 cents on the dollar. That's what the lottery does.
Okay, but the point is, it costs the state nothing.
Correct.
It's free money, for lack of a better term. And all you have to do is just make sure that the bars are on the up and up with these machines, which I'd imagine in the modern era, it's pretty hard to rig those where they could. Or they couldn't work that way. And why would you want to even do that anyway?
Right, exactly. It like I say, it's tied into the state. So the state is controlling all the payouts. At a moment's notice, they can go in and say, all right, this is the rate of play on this machine. This is the payouts. If there's a malfunction, the state can shut it down. Obviously, casinos are going to say this is infringing on our turf, but it's completely different. The person who's going to be gambling at the corner tavern is typically not the person who's going to go to a casino. A casino is more of an event.
Yeah.
You go there for the experience. This is just somebody who's got an extra $10 and 20 minutes, and they're sitting around having a beer. They'll gamble it, and if they win, they win. If they lose, they lose.
All right. Well, you did a wonderful job today.
Thanks, Rob. I've enjoyed it.
My gift to you for donating 3 hours of your time was that we got to talk gambling before we went out the door.
I love it. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for throwing me the softball.
Yeah, thanks for being with us today. Great job as always, Brad. Great job, Kevin. And great job to you, the listener. You're the most important part of the equation. Know you, know us. Stick around. Tony Katz. Coming up next, Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. If your garage floor looks bad with stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your entire garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job or chipping paint makes your garage or basement look worse. With one quick call to 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, I can save you $1,000 on a new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor during our winter sale. A Comer & Cross concrete floor coating is the gold standard. Guaranteed. A Comer & Cross garage floor won't chip, crack, show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. And here's the Comer & Cross difference. We make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. And one day, you'll love your new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor, guaranteed. Call us right now for your quick and easy quote and details on $1,000 off during our winter sale. Even our number's easy. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars January 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar at 8. And January 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Attention Indiana Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one who lives with you. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly. It's all through Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers can choose to get paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 463-208-7977. 463-208-7977. That's 463-208-7977.
Don't miss out on Hammer and Nigel Tequila by Hiatus. Pick up your unique bottle at any Ale Emporium location near you.
Must be 21 or older to purchase. Slow down. Enjoy your hiatus.
B is offering 1 bath remodel for as low as $99 a month or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Visit redcrossblood.org today.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up. That's 20 degrees warmer than what we're seeing today.
So that seals the gaps around your windows and doors.
Gas prices always